Hello, 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 everybody at the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. I don't like windows when they're closed. So, welcome to my safe haven, everybody. We are here to talk about episode 4 of Interview with the Vampire. Spoilers galore. So hopefully you've seen this episode because there is a lot to talk about, a lot to speculate about, a lot to predict based on this episode because we're basically at the halfway point. There's only 8 episodes this season. So I just feel like there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be happening downhill from this point forward. Like our hearts are going to be ripped out of our chests. And it's just going to be a lot of crying, and we're going to need therapy I feel like for this next half of the season. But as you guys know, I don't like to do these lives alone. So I got my therapist here on the stream. And yes, happy Pride Month. Thank you, Greta. Happy Pride Month, everybody. So actually, really quick, before I bring on my panel. Actually, you know what? I'll do that after I bring them on. So let's bring on the hostess with the mostest, the person that's been joining me on the stream pretty much every week, talking about ghoulish, girly, gay vampires and things like that. Let's bring on Amanda Castrillo.
Hello, my name is Amanda Castrillo, aka Amanda Just Vibin', and I love everything spooky, horror, and gay. Happy Pride Month. If you do not watch this series and if you do not follow us on all of our social medias, you are homophobic. I didn't make the rules, but yes, I am super excited to be back. I am so excited to talk about this episode. It is as messy and as gay as ever, and I'm super excited to get into it.
But yeah, just like she said, if you don't follow us, if you don't watch this show, you're homophobic. It's one of the 3 or the 5 gay laws. It's written in stone in ancient Egyptian times, so definitely
we didn't make the rules.
We didn't make the rules. The rules were made. The rules were already made.
Yes.
What's that line from
it's like, don't recite that to me, Witch. I was there when it was written.
I was like, don't recite the ancient laws to me, Rich. I was there when they were written. So that's what that is. But speaking of, I was there when they were written. This person knows everything about pop culture. She was there when pop culture was invented. She knows every time something happens in pop culture, they call Bobby quickly. It's like, hey, we just want to let you know what's happening so you can be aware of it. Do you approve? Oh no, you don't approve, then we're not going to make it happen. She's wanted to stop trying to make fetch happen. She approved that line in the movie. I don't know if you knew that. So let's bring on Bobby from Culture Kitsch.
Oh my gosh. I always love the intros every time I come on here. It's always just like, it's the best.
I just make it up on the top of my head. Well, with that, let's introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bobby. I am known around the internet as your friend who knows just a little bit too much about pop culture. You may know me from TikTok over at the Afternoon Special, or you may know me on YouTube as at Culture Kitsch, where I've been talking about the show since the beginning of season 2. And it's a fun time over there. It's a fun time. I can't say I know everything about pop culture because if you look at the comment sections of my YouTube videos talking about this show, people try me every single week, but it's a fun time, but I have a good time. But I'm so happy to be here.
There's always one
Multiple.
Well, yeah, of course. But it's like you say one random thing, and then they're like, "You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about." It's like, okay, maybe I mispronounced a word, but what about everything else that I said?
Like, yeah, like you hate Louis. I'm like, whoa, okay.
No. Everything exists in a vacuum. There's no nuance.
Yeah,
everything's black and white, and you can't use more than 2 brain cells at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I remember for Lovecraft Country, the episode was called something Marshall, whatever, and I was saying marital the whole time instead of Marshall. And somebody was like, as a YouTube reviewer, I expect better from you because you don't even know how to pronounce, you don't even know the correct name of the episode. And you kept saying, and I kept twitching every time you said it. I'm like, okay, so I mispronounced the word, but did you like the review? Did you enjoy my opinion on everything else?
Oh my God.
Like, like, why do you have to be so like such an asshole? He's like, and then I didn't say asshole, but I was just like, okay. And I was just talking to him as a normal person. He was like, I don't feel like I need to coddle a grown man's feelings. So if you can't hurt my criticism, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. And I'm just like, all right, blocked.
Listen, I made a Road to El Dorado and Challengers comparison, and apparently that was like a crime.
How?
With the way that people were like, some people were like, hey, that's kind of funny, like, you know, as intended, because it wasn't that serious. And then the other half were like, no, that's terrible. Why would you cast them as this? And I'm like, I'm not a casting director. This is not a casting. What did I say? This was like, ooh, hello?
It's a topical like observation, and it's funny and true.
And I'm just like, no, this is just two white boys down bad for a woman of color. That's all this is. Like, that's all this is. That's all this is. But nah, that's, yeah.
Heck, maybe the main ones. Maybe the main ones complaining, and then they won't make their own content.
Exactly. I'm like, if you have an opinion, then you say something.
Yeah, if you disagree with what I'm saying, then make your own video. Because this is also something that happened to me yesterday. I made a video talking about 911, the character of Evan Buckley, who just came out this season as bisexual.
Yeah.
I never saw the show prior to this season, but I watched the entire season 7. And then I made a comment on how they handled his bisexuality. And somebody was like, oh, you're making a comment and you never watched the show, delete your channel or whatever. And I was like, if you watch the video, I literally said I watched this entire season. So I saw how they handled his entire coming out story. Like, maybe you should delete your channel because nobody's following you anyway. So they
fire off of something they might have heard.
Like 10 followers and no profile picture. Or like if it is a profile picture, it's like a crudely drawn anime character. Like it's never like anything.
So yes, I'm not commenting on something I don't know. Like, yeah, I might not know his other backstory, but I'm literally talking about his coming out story, which happened this season. So like, but anyway, really quick, guys, going back to what I was saying earlier in the intro, I said I'll wait till after they get on. But with it being Pride Month, guys, if you happen to find yourself at the movie theaters this month, get there early. You'll see a familiar face on the screen for Pride Month. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Newbieverse. And I know Amanda, she has experience with Newbies, but yeah, it's basically just like they talk about like stuff like what's coming in the movies and things like that. They give their opinions. Sometimes they'll interview actors. But yeah, I'm basically just giving my, favorite queer movies of all time. It's just like a minute. But yeah, if you see your boy on the screen, tag me on Instagram and tag Nuvi and everything like that. So just wanted to say that. But then also really quick, I told Bobby and Amanda on that, but in my maybe like 2 minutes or so, I'm gonna have to get up from the stream because I ordered food. It was supposed to get here like 20 minutes ago, but then they kept delaying it, and now it's gonna be here in like 2 minutes. So during the conversation, I'm gonna have to get up and disappear to go grab my food, and then I'll be right back. But with that, let's get into the episode 4 of Interview with the Vampire. But also, really quick, we got 126 people watching the stream across all of social media. So if you could do me a favor, hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube, hit the repost button if you're watching on Twitter, and hit the heart button if you're watching on Twitter as well. It'll help get the stream out there, get the video out there, get the channel out there, so I can continue to grow this channel. And also follow Amanda and Bobby while you're at it. So with that said, Amanda, how'd you feel about this episode?
I was literally like live texting my friend. I'm like, this is Vampire Real Housewives. This is Vampire Maury Povich. This is the messiest theater club. The messier it gets, the more I love it. I'm having a great time. I feel horrendous for Claudia, especially since like I pretty much know what's coming. And I also really like the fleshing out of like Madeline's character too. I know she's kind of more like she just kind of pops up and then like, you know what happens. Like she's not really like a fixture. She just is kind of there, but I like how she's kind of like a character in herself.
And part of me is also like, even outside the vampires, I'm like, these are just theater, gays. This is just
theater
like,
gays.
Take out the vampire aspect. This is what will happen in the theater.
They're toxic theater gays, and it's hilarious. I would literally just watch like a reality show of these motherfuckers. I love them so much. Also, like, the tensions are like, because people are finding things out, and like everything's unfolding, and now like
Bobby and Amanda, food's here, so I'm gonna go grab it. But after Amanda goes, Bobby, you go next.
Okay, cool. So Bobby, let's roast him while he's gone. But yeah, that's. What are your quick thoughts on the episode before he gets back?
Yeah, I really like this episode. I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't too high on episode 3. Like, I had some problems with it. Nothing like too crazy. It just wasn't my favorite. And they won me back with episode 4. I was never gonna leave. I love the show, but episode 4, I was like, oh, this is good. When you said Real Housewives, I'm like, watch this show.
It's all I can think. I'm like, dude, if they had confessionals after every like dramatic thing that happened, I'm like, bro, it would be a reality show. This is hilarious. It's amazing.
I think that's how I keep myself from not getting too emotionally worked up about it. Like, I get worked up about the things that matter, but at the end of the day, like, this is just Real Housewives. Like, they're all housewives just like fighting over brunch. And
then like they literally fought over what, brunch? It was like,
yeah, it's just
vampire brunch. They were like, throwing hands. I'm like, bro, oh my god, like, not you fighting children
at dinner, fighting at dinner in front of everyone.
And you did it at my birthday dinner. Like, it was just like,
you did it at my birthday dinner. But it's so real, and like, it's just, I think that scene in particular was my favorite, mainly because Santiago, I noticed immediately when Louis like has Santiago by the tongue, Santiago's hand immediately on Louis' waist. I was like, you're just horny and nasty. That's it.
But Santiago dude, in this episode, literally the girl like coming up like, hello?
Yes.
Like, it wasn't even subtle. I was like, pardon? Like,
yeah, it's like, I thought this was a classy party. Like, whoa.
Like, he went to the wrong house. So now I gotta wait for him again. He's all the way up the street.
What the hell? Get a refund.
First day on the job, just messing up.
It said he was outside, and then he just kept going up the street. So I'm like, dude, you went too far. So now I got to wait for him to go around the corner again. But I heard everything that y'all was saying because I was standing by the door.
Got it. No, we were talking mad shit about you, Michael.
But no, Santiago, like, I love Santiago and this little crew that he's trying to like. He's trying to do with the whole vampire society. And I definitely, with this comment right here, I definitely think Delaney ate.
Yes.
Honestly, I think this is probably my favorite episode this season.
I think she's doing an amazing job.
She's so good.
She's so like, good. This is like, I normally, whenever there's like a recast, I'm like, oh no. But like, it's not, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, no, she's doing great. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like both Delaney and
was that her
Bailey.
singing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's from the state, like everyone else. Like, I think she came from theater.
Everyone's a theater kid here. Like,
So what were you about to say, Bobby?
What was I about to say? Well, I forgot. I'll remember it later. But yeah, we just keep going. I completely forgot.
But one thing I will say, and we'll get into it further on, but I definitely feel like, and obviously we know from the book, we know from the movie, but so I'm not going to really dive into that. But ultimately, I think this is the start of Claudia getting into trouble. And I think a lot of that is just the fact that she's very prideful. She has a lot of hubris. And like, this was the first time I kind of was like fully not on her side. I was more so on Louis' side. And like, when that moment in the middle of the episode when she started yelling at Louis, I didn't agree with her at all, because she's like, you chose somebody again over me. What happened to me and you and me? Yada, yada. But it's like, I agree with Louis. Like, you literally chose the vampire society over me. So it's just like, what, like, And you were warned. I warned you. The moment they find out that we were lying, it's not going to be good for us. And then, like, when you get to the Santiago scene, like, he knew Louis wasn't from New Orleans or Chicago. He was like, no, you're from New Orleans.
Yeah,
like,
the way
I'm
he
clocking
speaks.
you. So, like, at every moment, and then you're writing in your journal in the middle of the all right, the food is here. The guy's calling me. But yeah, you're writing in your journal in the middle of the freaking Theatre de Vampire when that's one of the laws. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, let me grab my food real quick.
Yeah, she's kind of playing fast and loose with the rules.
But so is everyone else.
Everyone
being
is,
so
though.
fair.
Everyone is.
Like, I find it's tough because I feel like I've heard a lot of people being like, you know, like, oh, like Claudia's getting herself into trouble, but like.
But it's not okay. But it's not necessarily her fault. It's literally like explained, like in the first season. Like you turned her at 14. There's a reason they don't turn children. Like,
Yeah.
Not only is it gonna mess with her like physically, it's gonna mess with her mentally. Like,
exactly.
She's gonna have these hormones and these like feelings, like these physical feelings that are never gonna go away. On top of the like mental anguish of like aging but never physically aging.
Exactly. And I think too, like, I feel like people are forgetting, like, Louis went out and made Google Eyes with Armand, and Armand invited them into the coven. He saw the plays and was like, oh, I don't like theater, and was just like, oh, they're gonna find us out. But she's like, as long as we are still, remember that we're in this together, me and you and me and you, we're gonna be fine. But like, the secret slips more, not because of Claudia, but because of Louis.
Like Claudia was the one trying to come up with like cover stories, and immediately, as soon as Armand, even if he fucking knew, like as soon as Armand's like, I know something's up, he folds.
Yeah, he's just
and
like,
he spills everything, and it's like, you are the worst, like, liar, freaking like undercover anything ever.
I'm like,
because I feel like it's unfair to put all the blame on Claudia, because Claudia is not the one spilling everything.
Seriously. And also,
here's the thing. Even if Armand knew, Armand's down horrendous for Louis.
Seriously.
You know what I mean? He's down horrendous. If he wanted to tell them, he would.
He would have told them already.
Shut up.
When Louis was like, when Armand was like, I've known for months, I was just waiting for you to tell me. And then Louis' first question is, well, what about Claudia? Shut your mouth, Louis.
Shut up.
Shut your mouth. Oh my God, shut up, please.
What about Claudia? Shut up.
Like,
Louis do be getting them into shit.
Yes.
And also too, like, let's not pretend. Claudia's not stupid when like Louis and Armand made goo-goo eyes at each other.
Yeah. And
she's like, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. Like,
and she didn't stop him. Like, I feel like people are, when she said like, oh, you know, you picked another one over me, she was definitely not trying to stop Louis from getting with Armand. Like, she was like, oh, I felt your lust for him. Like, I know you got a little crush. Like, she's encouraging him. She's just like, hey, have your little boyfriend, but just don't forget that at the end of the day, we're family.
Have your boyfriend, but also like we're still like bro code. Like, yeah.
Just remember why we are here, and like, don't mess this up for us, but do whatever. You know,
I feel like for the most part, that's what he's been doing. Like, he always checks on, like, you good, everything straight, like, and she'll say yeah, she'll say no, and then he's like, okay, moving on. Because at the end of the day, and I think this is also the tragedy of Claudia, in the sense of, like, I think her reaction to Louis, especially her yelling at him, I think a lot of that stems from jealousy.
Well,
because at the end of the day, like, remember when you think back to season 1, where she was like, who's gonna be my Louis? Who's gonna be my Lestat? Which one of you are gonna fuck me? Like, she can't have that. She never can, because she's basically a grown woman trapped in the body of a 14-year-old. And so you see Louis still living his life and able to have romance and things like that. And yet she's not able to have that. And then the thing that she thought was hers, the thing that she's coveted, the coven, is kind of falling apart a little bit, because, like, the way she got mad at Louis over Armand finding out. Armand said he knew already, like he figured it out the moment we lied. And then when you think about how ancient and powerful and how dogmatic the rules of the vampires are, if Louis would have lied to him some more, even though when Armand already knew he was lying, it wouldn't have been good for either one of them. So Louis had to come clean. And then when you add on the fact that he has romantic feelings for him, it's like, all right, you coming clean to your boo. But like, more importantly, you're telling the truth to the ancient leader of this vampire coven who already knows you're lying. So like,
yeah, I guess. I mean, but like the whole thing, at the end of the day, Claudia didn't turn herself into a 14-year-old vampire who's actually 40. Like this all like Louis birthed her.
Yeah, like this, he's her mother. Like,
yeah,
well, he's her dad. Like, I think Lestat's her mother.
like that's her parent, whether he wants to call himself her brother or not. So, like, all of her problems, while yes, they are her problems, Louis is still involved. Like, he can't fully detether
he can't let himself off the
her.
hook for what he did to Claudia.
Yeah, and he still thinks of her as his daughter because Dreamstat in that same scene said the wilderness that is our daughter. Like he said, oh, that you made your choice sister to her, but in his mind, he still views her as his daughter.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's one of the things too, that I kind of also really like about seeing Lestat through Louis, because one cool thing about like season 1 in particular is that a lot of lines that were Lestat's lines in the books, Louis says in the series. So there's already kind of like that blending of like Louis and Lestat and like which one's actually which and whose personality actually belongs to who. And it kind of goes along with that unreliable narrator that they're like heavily leaning into. But like it's especially funny to see like the way that Louis kind of puppeteers Lestat in his mind. Because it also kind of shows how he feels about things as well. And especially when like that moment with like Armand in particular, where he and Lestat say the same thing at the same time in response.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh
funny.
no, that was your opinion. I was like, oh, like it just like it slips through. So like again, so like he can say that Claudia is his sister, like all he wants, because that's what Claudia said that she wanted to. Like either I'm your sister or there's a door. Like that's what those were the stipulations. But like in the dynamic is still very much like that is her parent and that's his daughter. And he essentially begged Lestat to make her, so he has to take responsibility for whatever comes of her. Like,
yeah, no, I agree. And something that with Victoria said, why couldn't Louis let her know that Armand knows? So I'm not saying that Louis is completely absolved from it, but also what I'm saying is I feel like, because I've also seen a lot of people, a lot of comments, tweets, and people saying like a lot of it, they're just blaming Louis, and then even in this episode, she's just blaming Louis, and it's like Louis has a lot of responsibility. He, at the end of the day, he's the one that made you. So he should also be more responsible and take a more active role in your existence. But also at the same time, you're in this situation because you wanted to be in this situation. And now like your hubris is getting in the way. Because even remember, like
she didn't really
she didn't want to be in Paris. She was like, Louis needs Paris. I don't.
No, she didn't want to be in Paris, but she wanted to meet vampires.
Well, yeah, because all the ones she's met are terrible. I would want to
meet these ones, and they're terrible too. And then Louis, like my point is like Louis said to her, like, we need to leave because the moment they find out that we killed Lestat, the moment they find out that we know Lestat, is going to be a problem. Let's go try to maybe find some other vampires. And she's like, no, they're not going to figure it out. If they haven't figured it out by now, they're not going to figure it out. And then I feel like she kind of feels like that because you think about that chess match that happened in season 1 and she beat Lestat in her mind, an ancient vampire. I kind of feel like she has that hubris and pride that she feels like she could get one over on these other ancient vampires because she's done it before.
At 14, and what do 14-year-olds think of themselves? They always think they're right, and
exactly. And she bested Lestat, like the one who.
That's what I was saying. Like she did it before, so she feels like she could probably do it again.
Yeah.
But it's like, but it's clearly proven that you're not, because like even just like I said, just the fact that she was bold enough to take out her journal in the Theatre de Vampire and write down, despite you knowing the fact that the rule number 3 or whatever is like, don't write anything down. At least do that at home. And then on top of that, because she did that, that gave Santiago the idea to break into their house. Because she's like, oh, there must be more journals. I can use this against them. And so now he basically has more ammunition to have the coven go against them. And that was because of Claudia writing down in front of him. And then thinking like, oh, you know, this is my friend or whatever. He's not going to tell on me or whatever. And it's like, you in danger, girl. Like,
I guess they're both even now as far as letting their masks slip. Because Louise, at least Armand knew, but like Claudia said, it's like, oh, but you filled in the painting for him. Like you gave him the details.
You let him know who did the cutting, who did the
poisoning and all that stuff. And now she's exposed that she has jotted down her notes of things that she's experienced. So I guess in that way,
of putting down people's last words, including those of Lestat's.
Yes. So
does Louis feel trapped by Armand because he knows? I don't think so.
I would say
I don't
no.
think so either. But Amanda, what were you gonna say?
I weirdly don't think so.
Yeah, because I feel like if he did, he would have joined the coven. But he's still like,
here's the thing. What confirms that for me is the fact that they're still together and the coven is nowhere to be seen. Like, he knows that when it comes down to it, that Armand is going to choose him.
Yeah, every time.
Like, I don't think he's afraid of the coven because I think he knows that Armand is, like, we saw kind of how Louis, too, like, was being a little bit, like, sneak, like, at the end of the episode, calling him by his, like, given name. And I was like, what the? Hello? Like, I think he likes to play dumber than he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he likes to play dumber than he is. I think he is ill. And I think that you know that one meme where it's like you need somebody to match your freak? I think, yeah. Exactly, that's what's going on.
They definitely do match each other's freak. With their hundreds of years long dom sub role play that they love to do in front of everybody.
Being psychosexually obsessed with the same dude over the course of however many hundreds of years. It's totally normal.
They're in this is Challengers. This episode,
it's Challengers.
It was Challengers. That's what it was.
I haven't seen it.
You have to see it. It's really good.
It'll make sense. But I was like, oh, they are so Art Tashi Patrick right now. Like,
yeah, I was like, oh damn. Like when Daniel was like, you both. I was like, oh, Daniel's us.
It's like, Daniel's us.
But yeah, no, that whole scene, like, and I love Dreamstat. Every time he comes on stage,
he's hilarious.
I just start giggling because like that whole moment where they were in bed together and they were talking, especially because like that whole dynamic where Santiago was like, "Are you guys companions?" And Armand said yes, and then Louis said no. I was just like, damn, like.
That's so embarrassing. I was so embarrassing.
Especially because like your leader just got embarrassed in front of everybody. Like, damn, like.
It's those moments in particular where I'm like, oh, Louis also playing something. Louis playing something also, and B, like again, like when we talk about the secondhand embarrassment, sometimes where you're like, oh shit, this is messy. Like.
Bad. I was like, Louis, you couldn't even just pretend to be
like in front of everybody. Like
when you think you're dating and somebody introduces you as a friend, and it's like, oh shit. Like,
oh, okay.
And in some ways, like it kind of makes sense of why the coven is starting to rebel a little bit because like now he's getting embarrassed in front of everybody, and then on top of that, like remember, like he's nobody's taking him seriously, and then he constantly is getting called out as kind of being a hypocrite because they're like, if it was anybody else that's doing what Louis doing and what you're letting Louis get away with, you would have killed. Like you can remember he said before, like you killed my maker for less.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now he's letting stuff slide because he's down bad for him. Which I don't know what Louis. I don't know if it's the Creole accent. I don't know if it's Jacob Anderson. I don't know what it is, but like that, he's like the sun, and for some reason these toxic theater gays are just like the planets.
He's the Sookie Stackhouse of the show. Like, everybody wants him so bad.
Damn.
Very bad. At least I can get it with Louis though. Sookie, I was just like,
no, I never got it with Sookie.
Who?
Yeah, I was a Sookie Stackhouse hater. I'm sorry.
It's a True Blood thing. I know you said you haven't seen True Blood, but yeah,
I hated.
Yeah, I didn't understand it at all. But I was just
what
like,
do we think about Louis' photography? His photography era, his Instagram Maddie era.
Him being bad at it and him just not being able to cope with that is so funny. He's so he was losing his mind on that man.
He got so angry.
I thought he was gonna kill him.
I thought he was going to kill him too. I was like, Louis, sometimes we're not good at stuff, and that's okay.
Like,
and the guy even tried to say, like, you have the eye, but like,
he has the rest of forever.
You need to practice more. Like, you just started doing this, bro. Like,
also, Louis, don't pick the one human like hobby that requires light and human connection.
Facts.
Pottery or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, you could paint or some shit.
Literally, because he was complaining to Dreamstat. He's like I can't take pictures during the daytime, obviously, and then I can't get close to my subjects. I'm like, you're
maybe you should find something else to do.
Yeah, find something else to do.
Like, and also too, like, the thing that gets me as well is like, you literally have forever to get good. So why are you this mad this early on?
Yeah, especially because again, he just started learning.
Just started.
I go back and look at my first videos on YouTube and things. I'm like, this is terrible. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm just like, so like
no,
yeah,
man,
like you said, you have
had an awkward phase, and he just.
He's like, I got to be good at it from the jump, because he's been doing it for 2 years, which to a vampire is like 2 months.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you've been doing this for 5 minutes. Calm down.
Relax. Like, and then he just starts setting the photos off with his mind, like setting them on fire. I'm like, you're so dramatic.
So like, dramatic. It's not for all of that. I promise you, Louis. Like,
but speaking of drama, what was that with the whole? It was somebody else's photography photos in the pile that Daniel was looking at, and Louis is just like, wait a minute, why are these there? And Armand's trying to gaslight. He was like, maybe you did. It's like, Armand, this is your house. You got like, these are your servants. You put that in there. Mm-hmm. But it's like, but why though? Like, what is that about? Is it more like trying to feed into his ego? It's like, oh yeah, this is a great photo. Yeah, you took this photo, Louis. And then he like did some like mental manipulation. I was like, what is that? Like, what?
I'm like, did you just gaslight your husband into like thinking he was better than he? What? Like,
it was like those photos were shit. I had to put some better ones in the mix.
He was like, that shit was ass. I can fix this.
I can make this better. Don't even worry about it. Oh my! When Louis was like, Armand, what is this? And Armand, in the most just like condescending way possible, being like, dear, that's a Stein. I screamed because he was just like, I'm sorry that I tried to make your ass portfolio a little bit better. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm like the whole like that is cold.
So
and the fact that
after 77 years,
I was gonna say after 70 years, he never noticed until now.
I guess, does he not make a habit of going through his old stuff? Maybe like
he must not, because like the way that they've been going through these photos, at least for 2 episodes, and they finally get to, I guess, rifling, because they showed it at the what was it? It was either episode 2 or 3 when they're showing like the different guys that they would, I guess, hunt or whatever and take pictures of. So they've been going through this for quite a bit. And this is the first time we've gotten to the like filler photos that Armand
maybe they just got to like the specific piss Louis off section of the
Armand over the night. He just put like, these old photos like, yeah, that'll show him.
Oh God.
But it just kind of reminded me of like the person that instead of telling you the truth, like, you know, a person they want to go on American Idol and they're like, oh yeah, I really want to be a singer. And instead of telling you like, baby, no, you can't.
You're so good.
You can't sing. It's just like you had the people just yes manning you in your ear, like, oh yeah, you're so good. You're great. Like you sound just like Whitney Houston. And then they get up on stage and they're like, I feel the earth move under my feet. Like, no, like you sound like Armand just, and I think a little bit of it is kind of like the whole like Louis kind of his dom, because like when you think about like when he called him Maître, I was like,
Well,
what kind of kinky shit is
does
going
anyone
on?
else get pimp vibe off of Louis? He was a pimp.
He was a pimp.
He was a pimp.
So I was like, what kind of kinky shit is going on over here? Like he's basically he's the master of the bedroom. So I'm like, yeah, Louis must got that.
We had him
dignitizing Armand.
Fake Rashid for a full 8 episodes for seemingly no reason other than the fact that they were just in a silly, goofy mood.
They just were like, we should really fuck with Daniel, and I'm gonna wear
like,
my little maid outfit.
We gaslit Daniel.
And then have this dramatic ass reveal where I take off my brown contact lenses and reveal these orange.
Take off my cunty gloves.
And show my full acrylic set and be like, actually, we're together. They are so just...
But you know when they were doing that, like they were doing like kinky sex games, like with him still being Rashid.
Huh?
I was like, I have a feeling like when they were still doing, like when he was still Rashid, they were doing like kinky sex games, like you being you're the butler, you didn't bring my food right.
Listen, the way that Louis came out with Armand's government name at the end, I was like, hello, Mr. de Pointulac.
Yeah, when he called him Aaron, like I was, have some respect. Like this is an ancient coven leader vampire. Like Louis feeling himself a little bit. He
really just said, like he was
like I'm in charge. Well, because like he had the umbrella up when he was before Dreamsat got blipped pretty much, and then he puts it down, and then when Armand comes in, he's like, I'm a little wet, and he expects Armand to hold the umbrella. I was like, y'all are so nasty.
Public on the bench.
You're public. Great. Get it out of here.
But I think Armand loves it because...
Well, here's the thing. They're the same ones that, like, ate in front of Daniel.
Yeah. Like...
They be doing such shit.
When Louis... Because the way he was holding our fake Rashid, Armand, when he was feeding off of him, I'm like, oh, they're fucking. They're absolutely fucking.
Yeah, confirmed.
Confirmed.
But yeah, but I was gonna say, I think Armand loves it because, like, you got to think about, like, he's always used to being in control. He's always used to being the one that is exerting the power. And then I guess in this moment, he's just like, I want somebody else to take the power, especially in the bedroom. Like, you know, yes, maître. Like, tell me what to do. Like, whip me, baby. Like, I need some discipline tonight.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
I mean, we know Louis a freak. He dead ass jumped into a river and swam to a man and kicked a girl out of her own house.
And then had sex with that man in that girl's house.
In that girl's house. She's outside.
In front of her. Like, he's ill. Like, we've established that. Like, when I say he's ill,
and didn't he like stab him like 50 times or something like that?
Yeah. Like he beat him up.
Like, he beat the shit out of him and then brought him home. Freaks.
Absolute freaks. I kind of miss Antoinette sometimes. She was so delusional and crazy. I miss her.
For Antoinette.
Yeah.
She was. But what Pamela said, like, they're both trauma bonded over Lestat, because let's be real. Like, that moment where Daniel was like, "Are you schizophrenic?" And he's like,
"That was
no.
So real."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't think vampires can be," which is like,
what do you mean?
Yes, you can. Like, if you're schizophrenic in life, it's gonna transfer over to be, or maybe, I don't know, because would it be considered like an illness? Because, you know, like when you're burnt, it heals. So that, I don't know, but I feel like, but regardless, the point I was gonna get to, like when Daniel or Louis was explaining to Lestat or to Daniel, like how it felt when every time Lestat was in his presence, he was like, the air would change, and when we would touch, like it wasn't literally his hand, but I still felt something. Like, you could both see Armand being pissed off.
Oh yeah, he was.
And at the same time, you could see him kind of like, damn, I remember what Lestat felt like. Like, I remember what Lestat felt like when we touched. Like you could both see his anger and lust at the same time.
Freak.
Like, yeah.
Every time we touch, I get this feeling. Like, that's the song that was playing in my mind when I was watching. I was like, oh, Armand is having a memory. He is going back.
Do you think Louis and fake Lestat, Dreamstat?
He sure tried.
Do you think he tried?
I mean,
Sure
yeah,
tried.
in his mind, like, because remember going back to, what was it, 2 episodes ago, when he was making out with that random guy in the park? And it was Lestat in his mind, and then he started smashing his head, and Lestat is like, oh yeah, kill me harder. And then we found out it wasn't Lestat. So like,
how many times has he done that?
He has run through all of Paris thinking he's having sex with Lestat. Meanwhile, it's 1,000 men that he has gone through imagining Lestat.
Jesus.
He's ran through.
Because here's the thing, if we go by that logic, I'm like, how many times has he done this? Because I don't.
A lot.
So many times. So many times.
Louis. Oh.
Because him and Armand haven't officially like hooked up yet.
Have they? I think they have.
I think they have.
They
were both pretty much naked in that bed together. Like,
that is true. Yeah. And then little tidy whities.
Already.
Yeah, I definitely think they did the deed already.
They did what Claudia was saying, the slapping blood, fat, whatever she said.
What?
It was like, what was it? In episode 2, she's like, I know what the sound of 2 blood, fat, like things slapping against each other.
Slapping against each other sounds like. So thanks for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah. So they've done it. They for sure.
But do y'all think Lestat is behind Louis' hallucinations? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that's all Louis.
Yeah, I think that's all Louis being schizophrenic, being crazy.
I think that's Louis being ill.
Because also, like, if Armand isn't behind his memory loss, and then the fact that he's imagining Lestat as what is like he is, like, there's some Louis ain't right in the head. That's basically.
And here's the thing: Armand even says, he's like, I didn't know that he thought about Lestat this much.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, and then he gets pissed because he's just like, I thought that we were having a moment, and you were thinking about this blonde bitch this entire time. Like, he was getting mad. Like, he didn't know. So I don't think Armand would have caused it. I don't think Lestat caused it. I think Louis just
like, motherfucker, I done taught you how to create fire, and you still thinking about this man? Like,
I mean, say you on fire, blow you up with my mind. Like, oh my gosh. But,
like, I'm trying to make you the princess of this coven or the queen of this coven.
Is this like a true love triangle? Because it's a true.
Because now it like got to the point that every time they're together, it's like a throuple. It's basically like you said earlier.
It's just a long-standing throuple throughout. They just pass each other.
They just for years. They just switch out, just a bunch of different combinations.
And I loved it, like when he was like, "I know your secret," and then Lestat's like, "What's the secret? Is the secret me? Like,
is it me? Is I the drama?
Am I the drama? Like Sam Reed? I freaking love Sam Reed. Like, this man needs an Emmy.
They got robbed last year. Full stop. They got robbed,
and they're gonna get robbed this year because this season isn't eligible.
Why?
If they would have aired the premiere 2 weeks prior to when they did, because I think it's like the first 6 episodes have to be aired by a certain date. So this season isn't even eligible. They missed it by like an episode.
That's homophobic.
Yeah. Agreed.
Homophobic, racist, all of it.
Yep, I think that's homophobic and racist.
Yeah, they didn't even nominate last season. Which, honestly, granted, not to say this season is bad, but I think last season was like better overall. Yeah, and so like, it should have definitely got. Granted, this season should get an Emmy nomination too, especially with Sam Reed's performance. But if any season should have got an Emmy nomination, it should have been the first season.
I think it was because like it was such like a. I keep rewatching that pilot. It was such a fucking good pilot. Like it was. That pilot was good first episode
flawless
of anything flawless. In a
like
while.
There's very rare things that I would say is perfect. That pilot was perfect.
That was a perfect time. I'm like, bro, this is some good ass television. Like.
Even if you didn't watch past the pilot, you still got a full story in that one episode. Like,
you still got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you could have ended it there. And
right
you
there.
Been pissed because I would have wanted to see more, but like it was a story.
Yeah,
I was like, this was some good shit, but like, and he got robbed.
Yeah. Speaking of robbing, do you guys feel like this episode like was like the way it was edited was like weird? Like there were moments like they just cut, especially like the ending, like how this episode ended. I was like, what the
so
fuck?
Many
like I thought my TV went out. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
I thought it was tweaking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is it over? Like that was it was so many.
It was such a weird cut, and not even just the ending, but I felt like there was a lot of moments like that throughout this episode. I was just like, what the hell just happened?
Is it like Louis' memories unraveling and stopping? Because like.
Or it was the cable cut that they put on.
I was like, am I Louis right now? Am I like,
yeah, am I being gaslit?
Yeah.
What's happening? What mind games are that? Like,
okay.
I know that
I'm glad I'm not the only one that felt that. I was like, am I bugging? Like, what the hell is happening? Like,
I'm glad I thought my TV fucked up at the end.
Yeah, like I thought it was because I tweeted about it. I was like, it was just a lot of really weird cuts, and people were like, "Oh, it's for commercials." I was like, "No, these weren't the cuts for commercials. They were ending in like the middle of a scene, or it just felt like a lot of scenes were not cut in the right place for them to like slot in the commercial spot. It felt
usually you stop it with a cliffhanger or a question. They would just kind of fucking stop.
Like they would stop, just be like,
randomly just in the middle of a sentence. I'm like, I don't think that's how that was supposed to go.
Yeah, especially I feel like the ending was the most jarring that it happened.
That had to have been a mistake. Somebody had to have like uploaded the wrong thing.
Maybe, or I feel like the ending might have been on purpose, but the ones throughout the episode definitely felt like they were cutting something out, and so the scenes didn't end naturally. Because I know
what do you think they were cutting out?
I know it's been like some weird censorship stuff that's happening, so I don't know if it's anything like narratively.
Like in what sense? Especially because it's like streaming, so like.
Well, yeah, but there's been a lot of scenes where they'll say like an actual cuss word like fuck or shit, and they change a whole line, or they like blur out like nudity for some reason, like in the background in certain scenes. So I'm wondering if it's the cut that's like for TV that's making it on the streaming for some reason.
But even then,
because I don't know. This season isn't as like sex heavy as last season.
Yeah.
It's pretty
like
tame.
There's not nearly as many like boobs and like just full on
fucking.
Yeah, Louis and Lestat, lad, they were fucking. Like they were fucking. Like
first episode, like
ass out, floating in the air, like Dua Lipa levitating.
We haven't really seen that with like him and Armand.
No.
Yeah, it's been pretty.
I mean, I think we will though. There's like a part of a preview where there's like, I don't know if I imagined it, but it looks like they go, oh, like it's like
someone's shirt's getting ripped open.
Yeah, someone's
or even like Santiago, or even like Santiago and Estelle. Like she was giving him head in the theater, but it was like very.
I thought it was for laughs.
It was blurry in the background, and.
But that was definitely played for laughs.
Like it wasn't like a real like.
It wasn't like supposed to be like serious. It was kind of supposed to be like, what? Oh shit! Like it was kind of one of those moments. It wasn't supposed to be like tantalizing.
It wasn't supposed to be hot and bothered. Okay, I'll accept that. But really quick, we are 319 people watching in the stream so far. It's actually the most we've had ever in any of my lives, and then also with Interview with the Vampire. So with that, most of the people are actually watching on Twitter, 280 people. So if you're watching on Twitter, do me a favor, hit the heart button. All 280 people, if you could do me a favor, hit the repost button. It'll help get my channel out there, get the stream out there. Same thing with if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. If I got, what is it, 33 people watching on YouTube, I should have 33 likes. How many likes do I got on here? I got 26 likes. So a couple people, you got to hit that like button. So yeah, help get the stream out there, help get us out there, get the video out there. Maybe AMC Plus can notice us if you hit that retweet button. We can get paid. We can get streaming that podcast for season 3 because they canceled the after show, which I'm just like, why? I love that after show.
I did love the after show.
It was so good.
It was a really good after show.
So yeah, hit that like button, hit that repost button and everything like that. And then also if you're watching on YouTube or even if you're watching on Twitter, leave your comment because I am paying attention to the comments. I am watching the comments. But also if you're watching on YouTube and you want to support the channel, it's not expected. It's not something that that I'm demanding. But if you want to support your boy, leave a super chat. It'll really be appreciated. But if you don't have the money, as J-Lo said, my love don't cost a thing. Doesn't cost a thing to hit the like button. Doesn't cost a thing to hit the repost button. Doesn't cost a thing to leave a comment. So do that as well. So anyway, back to these schizophrenic ass vampires. So I'm kind of scared for Daniel a little bit because like that moment where he was like, and I'm just like, Daniel, what are you doing? Like, be a little bit smarter with this. Like when he brought up the fact that the theater was burned down. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
You know that sound effect where you're at the club and the sound just like, it's like.
Oh, the record scratch?
Yeah, the record scratch.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt when like Daniel and like Armand and Louis kind of like you ain't supposed to, like, what the fuck? Like, you
Like,
ain't
who
supposed
told
to
you
know.
that?
Like,
You weren't supposed to know about that.
Who told you that? Yo, bro, meet me outside because you're not like where you get your information from. And then Daniel was like, "Oh yeah, like my research." It's like, bro, you know they can read your mind, right?
Yeah,
I don't think they are, but like you keep stepping into like deep territory. Like even like last week, when he said it was something that he said last week, or like no, he was like finagling with his computer trying to learn more information, and Lou was like, "What you doing, bro?" And he was stuttering. He was like, my computer stopped." It's like, Daniel,
You're slipping, Daniel.
yeah,
so
Daniel.
He is so peepaw because I'm like, Daniel, you got all of this information at your disposal. Why would you ask them directly? You're not supposed to know any of that. Why
Yeah,
would you
no.
ask them like, so what about the fire? And then they're like, what?
And then also, and of course, we're gonna learn this last week, but it also kind of makes me wonder, what was he originally told if he's not supposed to know about the fire? Like when, because obviously we're telling the story of his.
Well, here's the thing: he
didn't
didn't even remember Armand or Rashid. Like he didn't remember like Armand. Period. What did Louis tell him?
That's a good question. Nothing.
And when did he stop? Like at what point did he stop?
And so that's why I'm glad we're getting the flashback of us, because even when you think about the first episode of the first episode where he's like, yeah, I want to tell the real story. I had context, yada yada yada. So I'm like, yeah, what did he tell him?
Yeah, what was he? I guess what memory maybe was he given? Because a lot of the comments are saying from Louis' reaction, I don't think he remembers the fire either, which I think is true.
Dude, because I feel like I feel like he did know, because he kind of looked like, yeah, because same thing, like Armand, he was like, you're not supposed to know that. And I think there wasn't a moment where Louis was like, what fire? Like,
but because Daniel wasn't supposed to know about the fire.
I was saying, but there wasn't a moment where Louis was like, a fire. There's no fire. Like,
no,
what are you talking about?
Like, I think Louis remembers the fire because, spoiler alert, guys, kind of caused the fucking fire. Like,
yeah, he's the one that caused the fire. He's the one that caused the fire. Yeah, he's the one that burns shit down.
He's the one that burns the shit down. So
he started the fire. So
at least that's how it's been. It could change because other stuff has changed. So,
but yeah, granted, we haven't seen it yet, like that a vampire can glamour another vampire. But I definitely feel like I don't know. This is something, but because part of me is like Armand's behind all of it, but then at the same time, the more I look at the relationship between Louis and Armand, it feels like a little bit more like Louis is the one that has the power. Louis is the one that holds all the cards, and Armand kind of defers himself to Louis in a sense. So it's like, is Armand really manipulating the situation? I don't know.
I think Armand is manipulating the situation, but maybe not for the reason we thought.
I agree. I don't think it's as malicious.
Yeah, I don't think it's as malicious. I think, and I could be completely fucking wrong, I think he's low-key kind of afraid of Louis.
Yeah, because I think there's a later scene later in the season, but it was in like a preview where Daniel, I guess, is talking to the Raglan James guy again, and he says like, you should be scared of the other one. So I don't think he's talking about Armand. I think he's talking about Louis. Because
Louis is the one that freaked out and almost killed Daniel.
Yeah.
Back in 1973. Yeah. And Louis is also the one that freaked out over the pictures and shit. Like, Louis is also the person that like made a guy a Christmas decoration on a fence. Unprompted.
To be fair, though, he was racist, so he deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
But he was capable of doing it.
A Christmas decoration on a fence, like outside, but yeah, like.
And it's crazy when you think about it, because like, yeah, Armand is way more powerful than Louis. Not even just in the fact that he can stop time, he can clearly manipulate his mind, yada yada yada. But like the fact that he's more older, like his strength, like he's faster, he's stronger, he's like, what do you have to be afraid of?
Yeah, I mean,
but I guess we're gonna find out.
I think Louis is so loyal to Armand, and I think Armand has never really had that type of loyalty in love. So I think Armand is kind of like a ride or die girlfriend in this case. Like, yeah, he holds a lot of the physical and maybe mental power, but like Louis loves him, and I think he's like, I want to be loved, so I'll do anything for this person who loves me.
And he tells like Armand he loves him. He never told Lestat he loved him.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he's like, oh, love you, when they're trying to figure out when they have the what are we conversation.
And then it cuts to Lestat, like, well, Dream Lestat, like, bitch.
Like, all right, well.
Because he never.
Part of me is like, no, because even though he never said I love you to Lestat,
well, he did. He loved him.
I mean, yeah, he did love it, but I'm saying, but he, because I was like, does he actually really? Because he's saying I love you to Armand, but does he really love Armand? I don't feel the passion as much as like.
It's tough.
I feel like I do feel like in his like Armand is more like just like a 70-year rebound for him. But then also I'm going back and forth. Now I'm turning into Louis. Like I'm like. Because then part of me is like, but we did see in this episode, he finally let Lestat go.
Yeah, that is true.
Did he?
I mean, he let
never gone.
He let him
he's
melt.
Not gone.
He let him melt like, oh no, he's not gone. Sam Reed's a series
time.
regular, but at least in this moment, he tried to make it work. Like, and we're not seeing him hallucinate him in the future. So like,
yeah. I mean,
he old yellered him.
And for all we know, Lestat could be in the attic. Like
I mean, he might. Season 3, we're gonna find out.
For all we know, it could be like
he's another Rashid.
Why don't we ask him? Like,
it's so funny if he's also
we find out that real Rashid somehow Lestat got the power to shapeshift like Mystique, and he's real Rashid.
He comes out in another maid outfit, and it's just like, oh, my name is John. It's like, what's that? I know that's you.
Listen, I would accept it fully.
I would think
it happening.
I think it's gonna happen. That's what another real Rashid reveal.
It can't. It's like it's funny that it happened twice.
Was it? No, if I had a nickel for every time Rashid was somebody else, it wouldn't be a lot of nickels. But it's weird it happened twice.
Where was other Rashid during? I just want to know where he was.
I hope he was on vacation. Like, while his bosses were doing their sex role play in his name and likeness.
Why'd they have to use a real name?
It's fucked up. He was like, I'm gonna call myself Rashid. Like, that's just like role playing with your partner using your assistant's name. Yeah,
you could have used anybody's name.
It could be a fake name. Why you use your real assistant's name?
Daniel wouldn't have known
Daniel, because I think Daniel did look him up. Like, I think Daniel did do some research.
Okay, so they had to have like.
Yeah, he probably had to have something. Yeah,
somebody. They're like, you're proud. You're
but they still could have come up with a different name, because like you come back to work and everyone's like, "Hey, Rashid," like
we heard some really weird things.
Like, what are you guys doing?
But no, Tan, the trophy. I definitely do feel like there's a little bit of this as well. Like, and Amanda, you mentioned this, I believe, in episode 1 or 2.
That Louis could have potentially asked him to.
Yeah, that everything that Armand is doing to manipulate Louis is because Louis asked him to do it. So, like, removing the 3 pages of the 4 pages from Claudia's diary, he did it because Louis didn't want to remember, because of maybe what it did to him. Like, somebody else. Oh yeah. So yeah, him losing his mind after Paris because of what happens with Claudia. Like, he becomes a different person, and so he's like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be this person anymore, but I can't forget about this, and so I need you to help me forget about this.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Also other like, there's also other like previews where it says like, oh, now he's remembering. He's like getting emotional from remembering things. I think, and he's not really angry. He's just emotional. Yeah. I think if it was malicious, and I think if it was on purpose, I think he would be angry. Yeah. Because when he sees that the pictures are not his pictures, what does he do? He gets angry. Like, I think that the memory wipe, like, it's just a theory. It's just a theory. That after, like, again, like what you said, like what happened in Paris after what Common said, that he just kind of lost his shit and was like, can you just do a quick scrub and give me a girly pop lobotomy at Claire's and we can just be happy and gay and it's fine.
And then because enough time has passed, it's not as fresh in him anymore.
Yeah.
Now he's able to recontextualize.
So now you can actually
and still look at it
and go
and find it and sadness, but not like pure rage and.
Yeah, like you can sit on it and not like lose your mind and throw yourself into the sun.
Yeah,
Like,
because I think he probably was at that point. Like if Armand maybe, and this is all obviously just speculation, but if Armand didn't manipulate or take away his memory, he would have threw himself into the fire.
And
he
Anne or whatever. He thought about it before. He said he was just like, sometimes I would just think about staying on the bench and just turning into ash. And it's like, that's really dark, Louis. You probably should talk to a therapist about that. But he's talked about that before, so it's like, okay, I think that's safe to say that it's not out of the question that he would.
Well, speaking of, granted, it's not a thing that I don't know if it's a thing, but look, you just beat me to it, Trace. I was literally I was like, I feel like vampire therapists would make a killing.
The Talamasca need to make a therapy division.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be more. They would be more accepting and more willing to do it if it was like a fellow vampire.
Oh yeah.
Because like you got forever to learn. Like take some psychology class, be a doctor. Like,
but who's gonna help you? Who's gonna therapize you?
Yeah, you have to listen to therapy for eternity.
True, but like obviously find a therapist. I don't know, like be your.
Start a practice.
Hit up the Talamasca. But yeah, you take the L, be the first one, and then that opens the door to other vampire therapists. Because I feel like you would become a billionaire because not every vampire is gonna want to go to you because you're like the only one. But yeah, like we need vampire therapists because everybody in this show needs to fucking sign up because everybody was showing their ass in this episode.
Everybody before they got turned, and it just got worse.
It's so much worse.
And here's the thing too. It's also okay because you were asking before, like when Louis, like if like vampirism could cure like mental ailments. I don't think so. And I think one of the things that they said about like when you turn into a vampire, and like hold on, my brain is like, when you have a thought and it's not like.
It's not formulated. It's not fully cooked. Yeah, I get it.
It's not fully cooked, but like it's there.
Let's baby crawl. Let's crawl to it, and then eventually, hopefully, you'll walk to it, and then run
how
to
like I said, like it runs in the family that Paul was already like not mentally
his brother,
his brother. Like it's already genetic that there's something going on in the Pointe du Lac genes. So like. Louis was what, 33 when he got? He was
33. He was 33 when he was turned. So
like he was just like
Jesus.
Like Jesus.
33 when he died.
In front of Jesus too.
Yeah.
In front of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But like, would it be far-fetched that like his vampirism just like exasperated like whatever mental issue he already had?
I mean, that kind of happened with Nikki.
Yeah, that happened with Nikki. Exactly. Where it's like he already wasn't doing well and then he got turned and it didn't make it better. It made it worse.
Yeah.
So I feel like if he was, because he was already an alcoholic, he was already like depressed. He was already suicidal. Like he was already going through all these things. And then he got turned while he was going through all those things, like in the middle of it, like drunk on the fucking floor in the church after his brother died in the middle of it. So like, I don't think it's far-fetched that like, it just kind of like slowly but surely, like it just exacerbated what was already like wrong with him, essentially. So like, I don't think it makes him better. I think it does it the opposite direction.
They need therapy. I'll be here for the spinoff their series, Therapy with the Vampire.
Vampire therapy.
Therapy with the Vampire.
Therapy with the Vampire.
But I also think a lot of his mental anguish and mental trauma and mental, not disease, but like his mental state, a lot of it, because you also have to think about the fact that, and also going back to like the argument that he had with Claudia about, you know, choosing somebody else over me, yada, yada, yada. But you also have to take, you know, a step back in terms of like thinking about how Louis has to still exist in this world as a Black gay man. It's like, yeah, in Paris, they don't see him as a pariah so much to speak as a black man, but he's still living in the world as a gay man where being gay is still either you're punishable by death or you're locked in, you're in prison for life. And so him also dealing with that, and the fact that now you also add the fact that he's a vampire and he's been, you know, with him and Claudia, been walking through the world just by themselves. And of course, he's had like little flings and dalliances and things like that to get his rocks off and then also to feed. But for the most part, like, it also makes sense that he kind of wants to latch on to Armand, because it's like, I found another vampire, so that's somebody I can connect with on a level that I can't connect with on a regular human. But then also somebody that's gay like me, that I have, you know, I'm attracted to. I have things in common with somewhat, you know. So it's like, and that's something that's unheard of during that time. Like, you don't really hear, not to say queer relationships and long-lasting queer couples didn't exist, but you didn't see it. It wasn't represented. It wasn't something that was like normalized. And it was something that a lot of people and a lot of queer people at that time didn't think they would ever be able to have.
Quick question. Do you think, it's probably going to sound like a very stupid question. Do you think that vampirism makes them gayer?
Of course.
Yeah.
Or do you think that...
I think everybody is sexually fluid when they get turned. You're alive.
Do you think that they just happen to find the gayest people they can find?
I feel like it's just looking at it outside of the context of this show and just really a lot of other vampire media, sexuality becomes so fluid when you're alive.
I feel like when you're alive for that long, like, you can't really look at people that just like black and white, you know?
Yeah, you're just like, well, if I like you, let's do it.
Shouldn't matter.
And this is actually something that I talked about, because I was like, because I mentioned this with regards to like Thor. I was like, Thor should be having sex with men and women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they kind of like. And the reason I say that is because, like, you're a god first and foremost. You're a mortal, and like, you don't think you're gonna have dalliances with the other sex, especially because like Loki talked about how like sexuality
I just don't
in
think
Asgard isn't the same as like human
like
sexuality. Say that again.
Supernatural shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and that's why Louis is so interesting, because he's
gay.
He's gay, and also wants to desperately apply humanity to vampirism.
Yeah, which is why they're so down bad for him, because he's so like, he wants to desperately hold on to that humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and I think a lot of the like
he's so different.
And I think a lot of like the pansexual coupling, or the, you know, vampires being sexually fluid, because, you know, somebody was like, oh, you're just making the argument that anybody could just choose to be gay if you're saying that vampires are all bi. It's like, no, you have to take into the account that vampires, they need to feed from humans in order to receive sustenance. So that includes men and women. So you do what you need to do to gain that sustenance. But then also on the flip side, like, you could still be like heterosexual, like romantically heterosexual, but at the end of the day, a hole is a hole and a mouth is a mouth. So like, let's be real, like, and me as a gay man, I could gain pleasure having sex with a woman. I could still arrive. Granted, I don't know if the woman will arrive because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but like, I could still arrive having sex with a woman because it's still a hole. My dick is going in a vagina. It doesn't know the difference. But like, at the end of the day, romantically speaking, what makes me gay, yeah, I might get pleasure from sleeping with another woman, but at the end of the day, like, when I think about like romantic coupling and everything like that, like, I wouldn't get the same emotion, like, you know, being with a woman than I would being with a man. Like, being with a woman, I would still think about being with a man, wanting to lay next to a man, yada yada yada. But me being with a man, I don't think about being with a woman.
Can I say something heinous? It's like,
go ahead. I mean, I literally just like, and I disagree. It is not going too far. Welcome to the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. There's no filter here.
I feel like you've said worse.
Yeah, I definitely said worse. Also, what I said, it's not like what I said isn't true. Like, people get very prudish when it comes to like sex. It's like, we're talking about a vampire show where they're like murdering and fucking people. Like, they're decapitating people. Like, if that's acceptable, why isn't sex?
You're not romantically attracted to like a battery operated thing. I mean, I hope not.
I mean, maybe. I don't
There are
know.
people who that lady
Yeah.
who like married her car or whatever.
Once AI comes
There's
about.
probably a TLC show about it. There's probably a TLC show about it. But
Yeah,
like
My
9
Strange
times out of
Addiction.
10, for us, most of us, like you don't just typically fall in love with an inanimate object, like you can't. It can do the job, but it can't do the emotional job. So like it's just like that.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, but really quick, would you say Armand is white adjacent? No, I don't think so.
No,
he's not.
Look at him.
He's browner. He's browner than Louis. Yeah, he's browner than Louis.
He's brown, and because
He's a
Claudia
brown
said,
man.
like, the coven is led by a man darker than you. Like,
Yeah.
what are you worried about?
There's a
No,
man
he's
of color.
crazy.
Like,
So I don't think so either. But hold up, there was another comment that I saw that I don't. Oh, but yeah, when you're talking about mental illness and things like that, like I think that's part of the reason why you have rule 2, like the dark gift, and I still have it written down from last week.
Okay,
yeah. The dark gift must never be given to the crippled, the maimed, or to children.
Yeah.
And going back to like the whole issues with Claudia, I think part of it is also, and somebody also said this earlier, and why Claudia is moving the way she is. She's not used to following rules in the way that the coven is making her follow rules. Because think about the way, like, her life prior to this, when she was with Lestat and Louis and everything like that. Like, whenever they impose rules on her, she would always break them. Like,
and she'd call the shots eventually too.
Yeah, remember like when she was bringing bodies and things like that home, when it's like you're gonna get us caught. And she didn't care. She still did it. Like the cops showed up at their door and she was laughing, she drunk from a man and got drunk. Like, so yeah, she's not used to following rules and not getting her way. Like she's pretty much been spoiled this whole time. And now it's like, it's getting to the point. It's like it's not going your way. You can't move the way you're used to moving.
Well, then again, too, like the only other vampires she knew were her dad's and Bruce. Like, she didn't really know how to navigate around other vampires. She only really dealt with other people, and the only other 2 vampires she like truly knew.
And she
didn't even know them that well. Like,
and she tried to get out again, and Lestat brought her back because Louis was sad that she was gone. So like, she's not really been given the chance to, I guess, maneuver the world in the way that maybe she could learn those lessons without them always having to come back.
I mean, this is true.
They don't follow the rules. Her existence is illegal. She was turned as a child.
But at least with Louis, he's not joining he's not in the coven though, so he doesn't have to follow the rules. She joined the coven, so it's like you got to follow the rules. Like,
you think Lestat knew the motherfucking rules, right?
He co-founded the shit. Of course,
he co-founded the shit, and he turned Claudia anyway.
Yeah, he knew those rules, and I'm sure maybe told Louis, but I don't know. Lestat didn't tell them anything. He was turning vampires. He's got babies all around that country.
I mean, but does he know the rule? He co-founded the theater. He didn't co-found the coven.
But they had to have told him the rules.
If they upheld them for that long, he knows the rules.
He knows them. He has to know them.
I'm not giving him a pass. He knows.
All right, but going back to the whitewash comment, Marius literally whitewashes him by renaming him Amadeo. I mean, part of that is also because in the book, Armand is white.
Yeah,
so like you still have to follow the name.
He's like a Spaniard.
Yeah, you still have to follow like the characters' names, because like he is white in the books, even though
like a redhead.
Yeah, he's a redhead in the book. So like it's a white name, but that's also because like that character was white.
Yeah.
So for the show,
they had to like adjust things.
Yeah, and so with that, speaking of character that's white, let's get to we didn't really talk about what's her name.
Madeline.
Madeline, there we go.
Madeline, the seamstress.
Yeah, the seamstress. We get to see her come back, and is it like? Are you guys getting like sexual vibes? Like, I'm just like,
okay. I wanted to ask.
I don't. Should I be weirded out by this?
It's tough because I don't know how they're going to play out a romantic thing when Claudia, in physical form, is still 14. But her mind, she's a grown woman. So I guess they tried to get maybe an actress who also looked pretty young too. But like, I can definitely tell that she's a grown. It's tough. That's a tough one.
Because like even when they were like talking, like she was graphically explaining like sex and things, I was like, I don't know if she should be.
And that's the thing too, where I'm like, that's also I'm like trying to think of like this whole situation because like she doesn't know Claudia's vampire.
Yeah, no, obviously. Which
She
also,
doesn't know
which really quick. Sorry to cut you off, but part of me is kind of like, why does nobody know that these people are vampires? Like their eyes look like fucking.
Maybe they were like, oh, these are some unique motherfuckers. Like,
and clearly they can see the eyes because remember, Armand, yeah, he had the contacts, so it's not like, oh well, the eyes are just for us. They can't see, but like clearly, no, they can see that this man has red eyes or green. Something's weird, like maybe not a vampire, but you're like, no, I just feel like it's weird that nobody made comment on like their eye. Like, what's wrong with your like? Why do your eyes look like that?
I mean, in the first season, Grace makes a comment about Louis' eyes, like your eyes are like a glass window. Like she notices that there's something different about them, and I think honestly they could probably just hand wave them away and be like, it's just it runs in my family.
And I think Madeline says the same thing. She's like, you got eyes like my window. Like, I can just see right through them.
Like, she's just like, they do comment on them, but they just don't, like, it's, what are you going to say? You know what I mean? Like, in reality, especially, like, back in the olden times when it was, like, there was no Pinky Paradise, no cosplay conventions and shit.
Yeah, no, like, bitch, you got rabies? Like, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
Like, they were so happy.
When you see somebody with, like, kind of funky-looking eyes, you're just like, oh, the motherfucker has funky-looking eyes. Like, you can't really do anything about it. Like,
when color contacts came on the scene, I bet they were like, "Oh, thank God,
yeah, like, thank the Lord." Yeah, Louis did wear glasses for a bit. He wore glasses and like said that he had an eye condition. Like, they try to explain it away, but again, at the end, like, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna say?
I don't know, like, Amanda, sorry to cut you off. Yeah, sorry to cut you off about that, but were you if you remember, what were you about to say about the relationship between I keep wanting to call her like Madison, but Madeline.
Madeline?
Yeah, Madeline.
Like, that's the thing where I'm like, she doesn't know that Claudia is a vampire. I also don't know how old Madeline is, but it's clear that she's an adult. Like, she's a grown woman the way that she talks to Claudia too.
Yeah, I would say maybe like 20, 21.
Yeah, like she's definitely grown. And like, I don't know if it was intentional, but I'm just like how would.
Yeah, because even when like Claudia's like, "What you doing tonight? You need a ride home," and I'm just like,
I was like,
am I reading too much into it, or is this like being very like this seems very sexual?
That seemed like a pass.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And I get maybe Claudia. I get in Claudia's mind why she's probably doing, because she's a grown woman. Like, she's
I would
a grown woman.
Claudia's POV, but not Madeline. Madeline, like, girl, that's fucking
weird. She wasn't wearing that costume. Like, the first scene when they met, I didn't feel it as much, but because she's wearing a costume that's meant to make her look like a child, I think that's why to me it read a little bit differently. And her hair is like in these like curly cues. Like, she doesn't look.
It really intentionally drills it home because it's kind of like a humiliation ritual on the Coven's part.
Yeah,
I think it's more of a close friendship.
But you're being friends.
You do talk to your friends about like girly pop shit.
But you're being friends with a 14-year-old.
I don't know.
I guess if nobody else is talking to her because they think
it was France.
They say she has sex with Hitler or something like
Nazi that. Sympathizer.
Yeah, I think she said she has sex with Hitler, or I don't know if she was.
No, she has sex with
she has sex with the lieutenant.
I thought she said that.
No,
she said, I didn't invite Hitler to stay in France. It's like a historical phenomena that happened during World War II, where German soldiers sometimes, like consensually, sometimes not, would have sexual relations with French women. And they would then see the French women as like Paris, France, would see the French women as traitors because they fraternize with these German soldiers, oftentimes against their will, which encouraged the Nazis to occupy Paris a lot longer. As I understand it, I think it's a lot more into that. But I think it's like a collaboration or something like that. Like, it's something like she's a collaborator. I think that's what they were trying to get at.
And that was your history lesson with Bobby from Culture Geek.
Like that's the thing where I'm like, also, I don't know if it's because it's Europe or if it's because it's like the 40s and it's like, I guess it was just a different Like, so at that point too, she's been there for like what, 2 years? I think she thinks that Claudia's like what, 16.
I do think she does. Like someone in the comments said, like
She does
Claudia,
suspect something's weird.
she like explains away that she's not a child, like because
Yeah.
she's like, oh, like quit wasting my time, like quit, you'll grow up soon enough. And then Claudia, I think, says something to give the.
She said that she was malnourished because of the war.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, I'm an adult. I'm like physically stunted. So
That is, yeah, she did. Actually, now that you say that, that is true.
So she doesn't think she's talking to a teenager.
So yeah, that is. So I guess maybe, but it's also. But I guess from our standpoint, and granted, I know,
like
I know Delaney Hayes isn't a child. Delaney Hayes is like 23.
Yeah,
so it's not
he's grown.
Actually weird, but from the story, I was just like,
but story like
it's tough.
It is tough. And then also part of me is like, because also then I was like, but then at the same time though, during this time, did they really have the feelings of like that we have today in terms of like pedophilia?
Yes. The only thing is that the term teenager didn't really come into fashion until like the 40s and 50s. And before that, you basically just had child and then just smaller adults.
Because I even think about Romeo and Juliet. Granted, that was the 1500s, but like
even in Romeo and Juliet, like it was kind of like they were nobility, so it was different because nobility had different rules when it came to like marriage and shit. So you would marry somebody off, and they wouldn't necessarily do stuff together until they were older, but they would just like in formality be married. So like that would happen very often. But people typically would get, like, if they did get married young, they would get married like in their late teens, early 20s. It wouldn't be like 12, 13, 14, like people think. Also, people, Claudia,
I mean, would they know? Because like this is before. Yeah, I was like, this kind of before like child labor
that
laws.
Was before.
Like that.
Yeah, they didn't care.
So like,
they didn't care.
Well just be a kid working at that theater. But yeah, like they didn't have it like exactly the same as it is now, but they would look at Claudia as like a younger person in society still. Like she would still be considered not like a 25-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they look at her and they're like, oh, that's a kid. Like the teenager, but not like a 10-year-old, but like that's a fuck ass kid. You know what I mean?
But I do like the actress that's playing Madeline.
I do too.
Like her.
Yeah, I think she's great.
Yeah,
she's doing an amazing job.
Even with the whole like, your French is terrible. Like, wait, not R. Kelly.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't care. It's giving very much R. Kelly, but that's what you expect in a horror show. Messed up situation. And yeah, but also going back to what somebody else. Well, yeah, no, Joe, you said the same thing.
Pop, like,
well, yeah, this is why you're not supposed to turn kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like even then too, where she's like, oh, she thinks she's talking to like a 16-year-old and just talking shit with like kind of like how you talk to like a cousin or like your sibling or something. Like it could be like that too.
And then, granted, we're the ones that say, is it sexual? It might not be. She might not be. Or at least it might be from Claudia's standpoint. I think it is from Claudia's standpoint, maybe.
You think Claudia has a crush on her?
Yeah. I think Claudia has a crush on her, most definitely. And I think a lot of it has to do, not even so much of like, I'm just sexually attracted to you. I think part of it just mostly has to do with the fact that like, I'll never be you.
And also, like, she's kind of taking her seriously. Like, she's like adjusting dresses for her, and like she's talking to her and holding a conversation, and it's different.
And yeah, she's treating her as
like a person.
Like, yeah, somebody else said that in the comment. Like, she's treating her like a person, not as like a kid.
Yeah, because they still are kind of treating her like a kid at the fucking theater too. They're literally dressing her up as a little girl and having her go on stage and act like a little girl, knowing that that's like a soft spot, because they're like humiliating her essentially.
Yeah, she said she has the mind of a sophisticate.
Fermentor and Madeline and friendship. Maybe a confidant.
I do. Claudia does like her because they've done a lot of in the promo and everything like that, talking about how Claudia finds love, and they're both these two social pariahs. So like Madeline is seen as this traitor, and no one wants to, touch her with a 10-foot pole. And Claudia within the vampires will never be seen in a romantic way because of how young she was turned. So they both have that kindred like connection of being, they only really have each other. Yeah, they're outcasts. So I think that they're definitely like there's a romantic thing there. But I think it's tough because we know when Claudia was
we know
turned,
contextually that Claudia is physically
14, but they have explained it away by having her just be like, oh, I'm an adult, I was just malnourished, like my body didn't develop in that way, but I'm like, don't worry, like I'm not a teenager. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it was weird. But regardless, she's breaking a little bit of the rules because we see Armand
breaking a lot of the rules.
But we see Armand show up while she's talking, and which actually, jumping back a little bit, let's go back. I want to go back to that dinner conversation that they were having.
That messy dinner conversation.
That messy dinner conversation with shout out to what's his name, Ben Daniels. Like, I don't know if, because I know at the end that was Jacob Anderson looped in when he like fully morphed into his voice. But when they were talking together, was that him?
Yeah, they were talking simultaneously.
Yeah, it starts out with Ben Daniels in real time matching Jacob Anderson's like voice and cadence and intonation, and then there's a point where they fade his voice out and they bring in that second Jacob Anderson VO, and then it plays to just it being the
but like when it was the two of, I was like, this guy's again Emmy nominations. Like, what?
Such a cool scene.
He said, "I show you a buffoon. I got your buffoon."
But yeah, but I love it, especially again showcasing Armand's power as well when he froze the entire restaurant with the exception of those two. It's like, first of all, I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing though? Like, how is he able? Like, is he stopping time? Or is he like doing something to their brains? Or is he moving so fast that they appear? Everybody else appears.
But then but then would the other two guys be moving just as fast?
Yeah, I guess that's true too. Because even when they went to the museum and he was like, he did that to the guard. I'm like, what is he doing?
Is he physically stopping them?
He's like freezing them in time, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. So like, is he actually stopping time, or is he like Jean Grey or Professor Xavier?
Dimension?
That would be so funny if he was.
I've been falling for 30 minutes, head ass.
I mean, I feel like it's a similar concept where you probably unsnap them and they're paused at that moment when he stopped them. So they're just literally their physical being is just paused in space and time.
Yeah, but what do they see?
Because even with the vampire, he didn't stop time, and that's it. He shut them down because they their head dropped. As if they were robots, and he hit the power switch.
Yeah, he force quit all of them. Just
he said control alt.
He control alt deleted all.
Because
I was have you tried turning it off and back on again?
And that's what he did. He just
the cartridge.
So yeah, I'm just because we seen Lestat stop time in season 1, but even with that, they were still kind of moving a little.
Yeah, there was slight movement.
Very slow. But obviously going to show the difference between his power and Armand's power. When Armand, they're stopped. Everything.
I am sad.
Even the horse in the background was frozen.
And I want to know how they got that horse to not move at all.
Yeah, because they said that was they trained that horse to not do that. And it was damn, what kind of, how do you do Yeah, how do you do that? Get
everybody
the horse.
On the show
it was it wasn't the horse was just oh, stay.
The
horse leg, one leg was up, and it was staying staying in place. I'm how do you do that? How do you get a horse to do that?
Even every actor on the show, even if it's a horse, phenomenal.
I love they were we just found people that were really good at standing still.
Oh my gosh.
But I think he stops their brain, like he said, rest, and so I believe their brain stops.
That makes sense. That's crazy to stop a brain from functioning, pause it.
Yeah, pause. Right.
Everybody on mute,
just mute you.
So I don't know, but I enjoyed that, and of course that's what made Santiago even more enraged or incensed against Louis and wanted to take vengeance against Louis, and the fact that Armand kind of didn't defend him or whatever, his coven master from this outsider or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, he's building a small coup. But what else? I was gonna say something before or after that. Oh yeah, so yeah, the moment that Armand shows up where she's talking to Madeline and forces her out and everything like that. Because granted, she didn't tell her that she's a vampire, but it's like, you don't get close to humans. We don't do that. Because they even kind of talked about it with Louis. It's like, oh, he's going out to cafes and all this other stuff. What if people start wondering, why is he only coming out at night? Why is he doing all this other stuff? They're basically afraid of humans finding out about their existence. And so and shout out to Delaney Hayes. That moment that Armand revealed that he knew about Lestat, like
the way her face changed,
and the look,
terror and
she
anger.
walked away like
she was like,
we gotta.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna light Louise ass up.
Yeah, like you can see, like first it was like, wait, how you know? And then you saw that look, like the realization, like, oh shit, how you know? And then the moment it was like you saw like her face shift and was like, I'm a fuck Louis.
the micro expressions of like terror to
like, oh, I'm a roast his ass up when I get home. Oh my goodness.
Again, shout out again, Emmy nominations. Delaney Hayes, freaking Ben Park, you said?
Ben Daniels,
freaking Sam Reed. And then, of course, like Jacob Anderson hasn't really done anything like acting worthy. Granted, not to say he's bad, but like first season, like he was some of those like those scenes and he was acting down. So he definitely should have got an Emmy nomination for the first season. But like Emmys across the board, especially for like somebody else, the production, the costumes, the soundtrack, like everybody should get. Or like that moment in season 1 where he was like egging Daniel or Daniel was egging him on about Claudia getting raped and Louis like snapped and he made Daniel like act up, like the look that he like. Granted, every time Louis be snapping, it's dangerous. Obviously, like you should be afraid. But I be like, you kind of turning me on a little bit.
No, I'm the same way. I'm like, ooh.
No, here's the thing. I was literally that test my friend. I'm like, my dumb ass. I'm like, I like clown on Louis so much for his terrible decision making skills, and I clown on all these toxic like theater gays for how messy they are. But like, why is Santiago ripped?
So hot.
Like, why is he ripped? Why is he ripped? Like, why is everyone here hot?
Why is everyone hot?
Everyone.
Why does Armand look like that? Why is his skin?
I'm like, is that rule number 6? We only turn hot people.
Like what is going on? Like,
I think it might be
because, bro,
an unofficial rule.
Lestat rolls up and says, "Come to me." I'm just like, okay.
Sure.
Like, I will skip toward the danger. I'm
glad you actually brought that because I was looking too.
The vapors. Stop.
I was like, okay, Jacob. now I see why Armand is calling you Maître.
Not the vapors. Stop.
It's crazy because someone pointed out, one of my mutuals was talking about it and pointed out that the actor who plays Armand, Assad, and Antonio Banderas, when in the movie, they're the same age. Like they played the same character at the same age. Yeah, I think.
What?
I think Assad is like 33, 34.
Oh my god!
And I think that's how old Antonio Banderas is.
Oh my goodness,
that's cool.
Yeah,
because like we learned that Armand was turned at 27.
Yes.
Yeah, because he said he was 20 in the painting, and then he was turned 7 years after the painting.
Yeah, speaking of the painting, he was definitely white. That was a white man.
Either that was a white man or that was his winter shade.
I think Marius.
Brown for it.
Yeah,
that was Armand.
They definitely whitewashed him.
Yeah, Marius chose to whitewash him.
I don't know if that's a reference. Wait, did it have red hair?
No.
Because I was gonna say I don't know if that's an Easter egg to his original look.
No,
like because he's white in the books.
No.
But no, he didn't.
The painting had black hair, just had slightly like had tan skin, but lighter skin, like definitely lighter.
Yeah.
And he said he was 20 in that painting, and then he was turned 7 years after that painting. So I'm like, hey, we share an age, buddy.
But yeah, Assad does look like a whole.
Yeah, he looks like he has a baby face.
So young.
He
Without
definitely
the
has a baby
skincare
face.
routine.
Seriously.
Right?
I mean,
I'm like,
33 isn't old though. That's the thing.
It's
like,
not. It's
not old.
He looks
Like-
like
no, but if you think about 33 and like the 8, like they look so old back then. Like you look at like the old shows.
Yeah,
in
but
the
he's
80s,
a man of color though.
like the
That's
80s,
the difference.
Like
He got
that. Yeah, I
melanin,
guess that's
though.
true. But even still, I guess maybe the hairstyle too. But like you look at like a different world and things like that. Like they were like in their 20s, but they look old. Like
Not everybody. Some people did look okay.
I see it when I see those like high school videos, like last day of school, 1987, and it's like a white high school and everyone looks like they're 50. That's
even
when
when you think about MLK, like MLK was like what?
He wasn't even 40.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't even
I think
40.
he was
He was like 27, I believe, during the March on Washington. But it was like, if you would have told me he was 38 or 39, like I would believe. Like I would.
Well, they were all smoking cigarettes and like rolling in lead.
Very
and, like
true.
sniffing asbestos. Like
they were aging in real time.
they were aging at hyperspeed because they were snorting fucking lead, bro. Like they.
Not snorting lead.
And they hadn't gotten to the fact that like smoking kind of bad for you.
Yeah,
like,
they
still
smoked like chimneys. Did you see the ceilings in those old pictures?
Disgusting.
Yeah, they were, their lungs were black. Like,
and like to the point that they were allowed to smoke on planes back then.
Yeah, on
like,
planes, in the air, in midair.
In hospitals, like there was nowhere you couldn't smoke.
Where people that had cancer.
Like I remember when I was younger, like going to restaurants and they'd be like, "Do you want to sit in the smoking section or
non-smoking section?"
Yeah, non-smoking section.
Yeah.
Everywhere was a smoking section back then.
Like people would smoke and then you get secondhand, and then you would just smoking ages your skin, and then people didn't wear sunscreen. Like, and on top of that being white, fuck. Like, can't do anything about that.
This just gets tough and tough.
But no, I don't think Armand is manipulating Daniel while this interview is taking place.
Oh.
I think he did it during the 1970s, and now for some reason that dam is
getting triggered.
Yeah, that dam is broken, and so now he's like something's triggering his original memory.
But I feel like Armand is giving him glimpses because it's very like the timing of it is very meticulous, because every time it would be a point where Daniel would like poke and prod and maybe ask more questions to Louis. That's when he gets attacked by these memories of San Francisco. So I feel like it's like Armand giving him maybe a little like, remember this? Yeah, don't go there. Or like, I'm going to physically stop you.
But even I don't know, because even the stuff that we're seeing, the little flashbacks, it has nothing to do with the interview. It's like you stole an electric razor from your dad or whatever. Granted, it's not that literally, but it's like it's stuff for it's stuff for Daniel's life.
Yeah, but if he's trying to stop Daniel, he's going to do something to hurt Daniel.
He's going to do something to directly derail Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, but I also feel like
things that he doesn't want to think about.
Based on what we see from next week's episode, that's just emboldening Daniel even more. He's like, what the fuck? Like, I need to know what happened.
But they're also freaks, so maybe he's having fun.
Well, speaking of freaks, are we gonna see gay Daniel next week? Are we gonna see Daniel and Louis?
Are we gonna finally see Daniel make out?
Are we gonna see Daniel and Louis have sex next week, or Daniel and Armand,
or three-way?
Okay, in the books I know they got three-way. So I know Daniel and Armand are like a thing in the source material. So like it could very well. I mean, look, they met at what was it? Hamburger Mary? No. It was like
it might as well be Hamburger Mary's. It was the San Francisco equivalent of Hamburger Mary's.
Like they're gonna do some gay shit in that apartment.
They met at a gay bar, so
they met at a gay bar, bro.
Daniel showed up there thinking he was gonna get drugs and get fucked, and he thought he was gonna have in a different way.
Yeah, he got fucked, but in a different way.
Instead, he ended up with a scar and some trauma and memory loss,
and no drugs.
Your Valentine brought up a pretty good point. They whitewashed him into an idolized version, and he was never able to be portrayed as his authentic self until the off-center picture with
yeah.
because he said, "Oh, I haven't had my portrait taken in 400 years,"
and
I
he
was
said
like,
you had a way of capturing their soul.
yeah, it was like Louis took your picture, albeit he was trying to take a picture of Dreamstat, but you were in it, so it counts. It counts.
Try. What were you saying? Like this? Maybe it has something to do with it. No, I don't think memory
does that.
Yeah, I don't think memory is affecting your part. It just keeps you like you shake. But I don't know if it affects. I don't think it affects your memory.
I think it's like a muscle issue,
it's like a constant muscle spasm.
Like you lose motor function. Like it's not like Alzheimer's.
Yeah, right? and then it's also interesting because also like you have to think about the fact that like these memories are only coming out now after the reveal of Rashid being Armand because we weren't seeing these flashbacks last season.
No, not until they talked about it. Like they did.
Yeah, it wasn't until he revealed himself that he's like, wait a minute, I feel like I met you.
Daniel also had
he did kind of say like you look familiar, like I feel like I know, but it wasn't like.
But then he had the dream.
Yeah, it's like Valkyrie and Hulk in Thor Ragnarok, where she's like, I feel like I know you, and like they do know each other. One of them just doesn't recognize the other as that, I guess.
And also, it was like what 50 years ago, like 40 years ago.
Yeah, at that point. So
like,
someone said that Daniel was doing during this interview. He's been doing the like, "Am I gay?" quizzes as his memories
on BuzzFeed.
as his memories coming back because he's like starting to get glimpses of stuff and is feeling things. And
when he was grandpa nap and remembered he was gay last season.
No, I definitely think Daniel's repressed.
Yeah,
Daniel's definitely fruity.
Fully repressed. He's like, wait, I'm gay.
The closet is glass, Daniel.
But because I think Bobby and Amanda, you read the Vampire Chronicles, right? So this question is for y'all.
I'm reading.
I haven't. You're reading.
Here's the thing. I read the first two, and I know about everything because I am nosy and I look at everything.
I just know the 1994 movie. That's it.
Yeah, but I thought the Vampire Aaron was an Asian Indian vampire that was in a relationship. They might be blending characters. That happens.
I think they definitely are, because if it's a thing of Marius, if Marius's ex, like ex's ex or whatever, current boyfriend is named Arun, his new person that he's bought, he's not going to want him to have that same name. Mm-hmm. So that would make all the sense in the world for him to change it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Because
they could be changing stuff. They could be.
I think it's like a small Easter egg thing, because he said that his parents sold him off in Delhi, so assumingly somewhere in India.
Because, like, for example, like they did, like with Antoinette last season, like Antoinette was kind of like, she was a different character in the books.
Yeah, I think it literally thinks it's like Antoine. Yeah.
Yeah, so. she was a guy. She wasn't a singer. She was a musician, and he had turned Antoine, not Antoinette. So like they changed things, so it's like it's not gonna be like a 1-to-1, so it would make sense that sometimes things would be just like dipped in there as an Easter egg.
Oh, apparently the vampire's name is Azim, not Arun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, well, thank you for all the people that have read the book.
Clarification.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. But really quick, we have 397 people watching the stream, almost 400 people. That is wild. Watching the stream, and we're coming close to the end. But with that, if you guys, regardless of what platform you're watching, whether you're watching on Twitter or whether you're watching on YouTube, again, do me a favor, hit the like button. It'll help with the algorithm getting this video out there. If you're watching on Twitter, hit the like button and also hit the repost button. Some more eyes. Now it just went up to 399. Can we get to 400? Let's see. Can we break 400? But with that, hit the repost button so more eyes could get on the stream. So maybe we could get over 400. And damn, I just went down to 398. Who just dropped out? Homophobic.
Someone was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to join this. What? Gay people, I'm not here for that. But
damn.
But can we get it on? Hit the repost button so more eyes can get on the show. Oh wow, it just went up to 401. Boy, we just crossed the stream. But so more eyes can get on the stream, everything like that. Because I want AMC to know that people are watching this channel. People are watching the Black Gay Comic Geek channel for Amanda and for Bobby. So they need to fucking hire us for season 3 because I want to quit my job. So hit the like button, hit the repost button. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Also on Twitter too. You can leave a comment on Twitter because I can see the comments as well. Because that also helps with the algorithm as well. Watch time is key. So watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. Happy Pride, everyone. So yeah, we're coming to the end of the episode. So what happened after I'm like drawing a blank. Where are we? Help me out. Where
have we gone over Claudia's performances?
I think we did in the beginning. Well, I said I like her. I remember I was asking, was she singing? Is that her singing?
Yeah.
She killed it. I love that she was like, I hate doing this, but I'm.
Yeah, and it was like after the 500 performance, she was like, all right, I'm over this. Like,
y'all know the words.
Which I get. I mean, you're doing the same thing over and over and over. And actually, now that I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to make a point. Like, to me, it made perfect sense that her performance as Baby Lou sold out. Like, it basically brought the Theatre de Vampire back on the map, more or less, because also when you think about it during that time, minstrelsy and everything like that, like white people eat up black people making a buffoon of themselves.
Yeah, that's very true.
So her saying like, oh, I'm a bird, and then she commits suicide. Like white people, granted, she wasn't in blackface, but like she still was basically making a buffoon of herself. And white people eat that shit up. I mean, they still eat that shit up to this day.
Yeah, Madeline called her a clown. She was like, "Oh, did you take up clowning?" Like,
yeah, you take up clowning.
They're humiliating her. Like,
but it would also, I think it's definitely that, but it's also the dual thing of like in Paris specifically, Black artists and performers were also super popular because this would have been the time of like Josephine Baker, and like a ton of other Black artists who made pilgrimage to France, and found a lot of success for their talent. Not to say that minstrelsy isn't maybe baked into it.
I don't think it was a full minstrel thing, but there were definitely some like seeds of minstrelsy.
It was definitely intended to humiliate. Like that's clear at the very least. Like it was intended to hurt. Because it's like it's a sore spot. Like she doesn't like the fact that she's in the body of a little girl, so they were dressing her up as a little girl. Like that, at the very least, we know that's what.
And yeah, this is true. I didn't even think about this. Yeah, 500 performances in a year is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
So what? That's like 2-3 shows a night.
A day, yeah.
A day, like
every single day, multiple times a day.
And they started adding like French performances back, which showed that like it was becoming really popular again.
Yeah.
But of course, they're not going to want that to end because they're like, "Oh, we making money now." Like,
it's like you can't stop this.
Yeah, keep dancing, monkey dance. Like,
damn.
But like, So because I was like, "Where are we?" We got thanks, Trice. We got to talk about Santiago and Louis' apartment, and like the fact, and going back to what I was saying earlier, like Claudia bringing that diary is what gave Santiago that idea to do that, and to basically start this coup. And like he took a bunch of books.
I think the coup was already going. He was looking for evidence. Yeah, he just needed evidence to bring to this inevitable trial that's going to happen. But the coup was already going.
I mean, yeah, because the fact that like you have people in the coven calling him Santiago Maitre.
Yeah, and like even in episode 3, like when Santiago is talking to Armand on stage, like telepathically, and Armand is like, "Do you speak for the coven?" And then all the coven like looks to Armand to basically be like, "Yeah, he does speak for us." Like, I think it was already going at that point. Like,
we're already not taking Armand seriously,
which is also interesting in the fact that before Claudia, he was the youngest one, and so it's interesting that the coven is looking to him, and not like the second oldest, second in command. Because technically, the older you are as a vampire, the more powerful you are. So, like, I guess it just also goes to show the power of charisma. Because also, like, yeah, like Elias, Alia said, Santiago hated that she was the new star. Like,
yeah, she was.
I hear that song one more time. Like, he's not the star of the show anymore.
Yeah,
yeah,
she was raking in the funds.
Yeah, he's not no one's coming and dressing up as him. They're coming and dressing up as Baby Lou.
Yeah, like he's the new, like when you think of Chicago, what's her face? When Roxy Hart took over from what's her name? That's basically what this kind of reminds me of.
Also, the fact they called her character Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Baby Lou, yeah.
Oh, like I feel like it's just like a.
Because didn't she used to call Louis in season 1 Daddy Lou?
Daddy Lou, yeah.
They called him Daddy Lou.
I don't think she did that recently, but like the fact that it is definitely a burn. But yes, Santiago took the diary that has Lestat's last words written in his blood.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Claudia's handwriting.
This is gonna be the downfall. Like this is of everything. Like like episode 3 was called No Pain. It's gonna be a lot of pain from here on out.
All pain. Whew.
Do we think Santiago actually read the diary in front of her? Did he find it before and is just acting oblivious?
No, I don't think he actually read it. I think he was like hinting because like he was like feeding information because he was like, oh, I like the way like how she reacts to him and kind of seemingly admires him. So I think he was fishing. It was like, oh, I like the good words that you wrote about me. So how do you know? Because you just basically confirmed it.
Yeah, it's so it's like a magic trick. It's like
I think that was just him fishing for things. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, or like if it was canon that like Armand or like granted maybe not because they're all dead now, but like, or at least I think they are. But like if they were behind the Rocky Horror Picture Show, like it would make sense if they wrote it and
created
it, or they saw it and they were like. They stole our whole, like, is this fucking play about us?
Play about us.
Yeah, is this about us?
Like, they stole our whole bit.
Our whole thing, our whole vibe.
And they made a movie about it. Crazy. They sued.
Yeah, and I guess it is true because this also goes back to when Lestat met the Coven the first time. Like, the vampires do respond to action, and Santiago... I froze again.
Oh, no.
What just happened?
You're like a permanent duck face, which is very
yeah, I know. I can see it. Like I see my duck face. Like I'm just like, what just happened?
Oh no, stop!
This is a terrible. Nobody take a screenshot.
I did.
All right, let me log out and log back in. Y'all keep going. I don't know what just happened, but yeah. All right. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
People do, yeah. But no, man. How are you liking the second season so far?
Like we said earlier, like I do think season 1 is still my favorite so far, but there have been episodes this season that I really enjoyed. Like this one and episode 2, episode 1 and 3. I'm like, I get
episode 1 made me so sad.
Yeah, it was so. I was like, "Oh, this is so bleak," and just
like, damn. Like the first one, I feel like started out so like, like, and then this one, I was like, oh, depression, like, yeah.
It just felt like more like a special episode, like that would be between the 2 seasons. Versus,
it felt like while you were gone.
Yeah, like
this is what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. But still, like. I still think it's one of the best, if not the best show on TV right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Finally some good fucking food. Like
gay it's gay, it's well written.
Oh, it didn't remind me of the Willem Dafoe. It's like he's gay, but he really likes classical music. Like
what's that show where it's like gay is in, gay is hot. I want some more of that gay. Like what
we do in the shadows. Another vampire show.
I turned into a vampire. So what did he say? He said to
fuck
blood and fuck forever.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I want a crossover of this show and what we do in the shadows so bad. It's not gonna happen.
I need a confessional. After every dramatic thing, I need like a dramatic camera zoom and like Lestat's like fuck ass just sitting there being like, I can't believe that.
Just the messiest. Oh,
I'm curious of how like vampire powers work in this world, Heavenly Gain said Santiago's maker was incredibly strong, so he was able to skip some steps and was more powerful than his fellow vamp troop, despite being the youngest. But I'm also kind of curious of like, because they say Marius was also Lestat's maker was also very powerful.
Yeah, Magnus.
We've seen Louis drinking from Armand, but we haven't seen like Louis have the ability to fly. Lestat also made Louis. He can't fly. Claudia can't fly. So I'm like curious how like the powers work in this world.
Maybe it depends. Maybe you can choose. I don't know.
Because I feel like Louis started to be able to get the power to light shit on fire after he started drinking from Armand, right? He didn't have that innately, or maybe he did.
No, Armand taught him the fire gift because they said that Lestat left after Armand taught him the mind gift.
Yeah.
So it feels like powers are inherited. Like you have to learn it from somebody.
Like you can teach them
to other vampires.
Well, the first thing I'll be like, teach me how to fly. Like, teach me how to Dougie. Like,
teach me how to
teach me how to fly. Yeah, that would. But I wonder, does like everyone have like a set power set, or is it just like, hey, this is all I know how to do, and I can only
like, are there some things they can inherently do and some things they can't?
Yeah. Is it like Infinity Stones where they have to collect them, or like?
Because that's like, kind of what I was thinking. Like more.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I was thinking. Like your power is more so about the bloodline that you come from.
I feel like maybe it's a combination.
Antonio in the book, Lestat was only able to fly because he drank a lot from Akasha.
Maybe it's the amount that you drink.
Because that's what I was saying. Like he's been drinking from Armand, and he was drinking for a long time in season 1, and we know that wasn't the first time. So like.
Maybe they haven't drank from each other as often. Yeah, like ostensibly, maybe Louis in Paris has drunk from Armand to be able to learn the fire gift. But like, I don't know if it's like you need to fill a certain amount and then you
certain quota.
Yeah, certain blood quota. I think it's just like if Armand's blood is within him, then he's able to unlock having that power.
Yeah, maybe it's like a circular.
I mean, it's that Louis loves to set things on fire. Well, we know there's a fire that's coming in that theater that Daniel kind of.
It's about to get hot.
It's about to get hot in that Theatre de Vampire. But I don't think I have anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, the episode ended with Daniel starting to remember things about the past, which eventually, he was looking at the photos of what was happening when they first met, which first of all, I was like, because this is kind of, they don't really have surveillance cameras back then. I was like, who took those pictures?
Talamasca.
They've been following them.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
This is Talamasca.
They know everything.
Yeah.
You think we're going to see more of them this season?
I don't know, but I know there's shows coming out about them.
Yeah, that is. I saw a theory on Reddit, or someone told me about a theory on Reddit that Rashid is a part of the Talamasca.
Oh, like real Rashid.
So
real
he's
Rashid?
doing like,
Okay,
real Rashid.
Sense.
So he
That
could be
makes
doing
sense.
like inside like recon for them.
Love real Rashid.
So.
Vampire intel, spying on them. I guess, and then that could also make sense of how they were able to hack Daniel's laptop.
Yeah, because I don't think they were able to just like over the cloud hack it like that. Like that was a lot of files.
Yeah, because I feel like he would have like Armand would have like strong like vampire
firewall.
Yeah, like encryption, his Wi-Fi or whatever.
Sponsored by Surfshark.
NordVPN.
I was just literally about to say this is sponsored by NordVPN.
That was just a theory, y'all. I don't want y'all.
Yeah, no, I don't know shit. I'm just watching and having a great time too. Like
I'm doing a little thinking. That's it.
The way Louis was about to snatch Santiago's tongue again, that kind of turned me on. Like
someone said,
and then as long as his tongue was, I was like Santiago, what that tongue do? Like his tongue was that tongue was long. I was like, wait a minute.
We need to ask Eggley, the girl that he dropped for Celeste.
For Celeste?
Yeah.
There's drama in the theater too. There's like relationship. It's Real Housewives.
He dropped Eggly, who is stunning and gorgeous and beautiful, and I was like, "Hey, drop him. Get with me. I will treat you right. I won't go for Celeste when the going gets tough." But yeah, that time was crazy.
Damn, messy.
Max, they need to release the full clip of the argument because I want to know what they were.
Yeah.
I want to know what they were saying too, and also like it would have been, granted, obviously another language, but it would have been funny if they were arguing in another language, kind of like how Lestat and Louis were arguing in French. I love that last season.
Oh my god! Like, yeah. Oh, it's kind of like when you're at a sleepover and then your friend's parents start arguing.
You're just like,
you just don't know what to do.
Sorry.
But no, facts. I'm not watching Mayfair Witches season 1 because season 2. Season 1 was trash. I couldn't make it past the first 5 episodes.
What did you think about? Did you see it?
I think I got the first episode. I was like, you know what? That's not for me.
I didn't. It was very like that was a show.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt.
And I'm surprised that it even got renewed for a second because a lot of people, because I reviewed the first 5 episodes, or a lot of people were in my comments saying the same thing, like, "Oh, I absolutely love the books and I watched the show as well," and I agree that it's terrible. Like the chemistry, the main lead, like her acting, she has no chemistry with the demon love interest. I was just like, yeah, it's just not. It's not giving what it's supposed to give.
I'm sorry. After interview, like that bar was set so high.
So high.
I was excited about that show, especially like I love me some witches, and it's from the same network. As I feel like it would have been the same people. I was like, oh, Mayfair Witch, this show's about to eat, and then I was starving by 5 episodes in.
Okay, damn, that was a show.
It's like, ooh. And I'll maybe give it another try to see, because I know they're going to try and do a crossover at some point because Lestat does get with Rowan.
Yeah, he gets with one. Yeah,
the main witch. So that's going to happen eventually.
Okay.
Antonio said he watched the whole thing. Yeah,
most boring witchcraft
ever. Yeah, like how do you make witches boring?
That's crazy.
Facts. Because I was like 5 episodes in. It's not that magic.
Nothing was happening.
Mayfair Witches and nothing's happening. Like other than like dreams and shit. But like
dreams and weird passing around your relatives.
But this is also true too. Dominique Devereaux said if Louis was thinking with his head and not his other head, but he would be letting Claudia feed from him since he's feeding from Armand, so she could get strong and have some defense against the coven.
That is very, very true.
Yeah.
Well, why can't Claudia know the fire gift too?
Exactly. Like she's learning. Why can't you teach it to her or teach her how to fly? Especially because, like her being in the body of a 14-year-old makes her way more vulnerable. She's vulnerable. Give her something to amplify herself, to protect herself.
Or ask your boyfriend to teach her. Like,
yeah.
He's too good to talk to her?
Nah,
and also, like,
but then he can't do it because technically she shouldn't exist anyway because
they call her
a child vampire.
Yeah, that's true.
Like yeah, he's not looking out for her
at all.
But with that, we broke another record because we passed 460 people in the stream so far. So again, hit the like button, hit the repost button. Clearly people have hit that repost button because it just shot up to 460 out of nowhere. So, but yeah, guys, we're pretty much coming up to the end of the stream. So if you joined late, the stream will be up for replay on both YouTube and Twitter. So if you're also watching on the replay, same thing, hit the like button, hit the repost button, and everything like that. So now predictions for next week's episode. Obviously, we know it's the flashback episode, but do you guys have any predictions of like what? Because I feel like it's gonna end on maybe like a cliffhanger. We're gonna learn something like, oh shit! Like, what do you think is gonna happen next week?
Why is my first thought like it's gonna get gayer?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna find out that Daniel and Louis had sex, or he had a threesome. He had a threesome with him and Armand.
Daniel was certainly expecting that.
Like y'all, you wouldn't be this mad for no reason. I'm sorry. Like
something was happening. The only theory I have is how the rest of the season is gonna go. In that we're gonna do San Francisco. And then I think episode 6 will be like the trial. when they eventually gather up all this evidence against Louis and Claudia and like take them to trial. And I have the sneaky suspicion that episode 7 and 8, because I don't think anyone has screeners for that yet. Like I think the screeners only went up to episode 6. I feel like it might be like the first 2 episodes with the whole vampire Lestat story.
So you think they're gonna kill off Claudia in 6?
I'm thinking so, yeah. I don't want them to do that.
No,
like
I don't think they're gonna kill her off until the end, like season 7, not season 7, episode 7. I think that's or maybe 6, But no, I'm thinking episode 7 is when Claudia gets got.
Like second to last.
Second to last.
I could see that too. I guess like because I am mad because they released a new teaser that's not the same as the next on from last week. And it shows like the trial and it shows Lestat coming back. So I guess they are just like, yeah, he's gonna come back, guys, for this. So that's what makes me think like these scenes aren't from 7 and 8. I think these are from 5 and 6. Like I don't think we've seen anything that's from episode 7 or 8 yet. But I could be wrong.
Unhinged Claudia. You really want Claudia to be able to start fires? Unhinged Claudia. I mean,
they're all unhinged. Why
they're all
not?
like that's the same thing as like
exactly.
a woman can't be president.
You must have came later, Sammy. But we were saying everybody in the show needs therapy. Like everybody, especially in this episode, everybody was showing their ass in this episode. Like, but yeah, they might get a season 7.
I mean, there's like
they're going through all the Vampire Chronicles books.
Listen,
so
I'll watch.
You got the interview with the vampire Lestat. What is it? The body thief, Queen of the Damned, Prince Lestat. Like, so there's a lot of books that they plan on going through. So it might get a season 7 if they're going through all of these books. Because the creator did say season 3 is going to be the Vampire Lestat book.
Yeah.
So we're going to see everything. We're going to see everything from Lestat. We're going to see everything from Lestat's perspective. And if Interview with the Vampire was 2 seasons, Vampire Lestat is probably going to be 2 seasons. So that's season 3 and 4, and then we'll get into the next book and the next book and the next book. So
I think Roland Jones said he wanted the Vampire Lestat to be a season and then Queen of the Damned to be 2 seasons. Because at that point I think all of the characters will have been introduced, like Akasha and like what's her name, Gabrielle, like and all the
that's Lestat's mom.
Yeah, like all the characters from the Vampire Lestat will have been introduced, and then like over those 2 seasons, you can have like all of them doing a bunch of crazy shit with each other, I guess.
So yeah, this show definitely has the material for to go multiple seasons. So it just depends on how many people watch each season and if the ratings, continue to be
cinematic universe.
To be high.
There's like 12 books. There's like 12 more books beyond this, so they could go as long as they wanted, I guess.
And hopefully, Akasha is in it longer than she was in the movie.
Oh my gosh, they gave Aaliyah 10-15 minutes, and she turned the party in those 10-15 minutes.
And she ate them up.
Ate them all up, but like at what cost? At what cost?
Well, no, I definitely we're gonna see Lestat show up again. Like, and I feel like at some point, maybe in the finale, he's gonna show up in the present.
Yeah.
Listen, I keep joking, but imagine he's been in the attic this whole time. He's just been upstairs,
just chilling, just waiting for his moment.
Yeah, waiting for his dramatic entrance.
He just floats down like, "Hey guys."
It's not gonna be Angela Bassett. She's on 911. Like
Angela Bassett.
I feel like Angela Bassett. She already played a vampire girl.
Yeah, I feel like.
And I feel like they're gonna cast younger.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like an Alexandra Shipp type. Like,
I hope not her.
I think a lot of people were saying that they wanted Lupita to play her. I think that would be great.
And give me a dark-skinned black woman.
Yeah. Or oh gosh,
to avenge Claudia.
Yeah.
Anna Diop.
Yeah.
What about Jodie Turner-Smith?
Yeah, literally any of them.
Yeah.
Do all 3. Memory's a monster. Who
all
cares?
3.
Yeah, right. She's her in one season and everything like that. But
no explanation.
But that's pretty much all I got. I don't know. I think we touched everything. Do you think we missed anything?
I can't think of anything.
But yeah, so with that, but Anna Diop, I think will kill it. But so I appreciate all of you guys joining in the live stream, participating in the chat, because obviously this live stream would be nothing without all of you guys' participation. Otherwise, Amanda and Bobby could just talk. We could just talk about it by ourselves on Instagram. So I appreciate everybody leaving comments. I appreciate all 468 people that are currently in the stream. So join us next week. Hope maybe same gay time, same gay place to talk about episode 5 of Interview with the Vampire. And so Amanda, tell the people where they can find you and what you got coming up next.
I would also like to say that I was making a gag because Alexandra Shipp played Aaliyah in I think it was a terrible Lifetime movie.
She did play Aaliyah.
But I am Amanda Castrillo. I can be found on TikTok, Instagram, the app formerly known as Twitter, on YouTube. I'm mostly Amanda Just Vibin' pretty much everywhere. It's on screen. And then I'm Amanda Castrillo on YouTube, and I post just social media, like pop culture and TVs, movies, gay stuff, fun things.
And for those of you that are watching on Twitter, Amanda's link, her description, all that stuff is in the YouTube description because Twitter doesn't do descriptions. But follow both of these people. It's in the description box below. But Bobby, let the lovely people know what you got coming up and where they can find you.
Yeah. So if you want something like this that is obviously way less fun because I don't do my stuff with anyone else. I also talk about the show every week. I do a recap review every Monday. For Interview with the Vampire Season 2 over at Culture Kitsch. And I'm also working on other general pop culture stuff, a lot of video essay stuff, film, TV, music, all that jazz. I like to say that I do like edutainment. So it's got a bit of a educational bent, but we have a good time. And I'm also on TikTok at the Afternoon Special where I do a lot of the same stuff. It's just under a different name. But if you can only follow in one place, follow me over at Culture Kitsch and watch my reviews, please, because I work very hard on them.
Watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. This right here, yes. Fuck yes. Michaela Cole as Akasha, yes. You won tonight's stream, Heavily Gains.
So real.
But with that, guys, for those of you that have joined the stream late and didn't see what I mentioned in the opening, if you happen to find yourself at a movie theater this month, I think it's AMC, Regal, and Cinemark, get there early before the previews start. You will get to see your boy on the big screen as part of the Newbieverse, basically just giving my recommendations of my favorite queer movies of all time. If you see me on the big screen, give me tag me, let me know that you saw me. And tag Nuvi as well. So hopefully next time they can actually pay me. Because I want to get paid. But I appreciate everybody in the support. And so also we're gonna and Amanda too, because she deserved to be paid because she did Nuvi and it was also free. But because I'm like, granted, let me go on my little rant real quick. Because I'm like, I'm pretty sure the people that recruited me, granted, I did it to put it on my resume. So like, I appreciate the opportunity. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure you recruited me. You got paid to do this. So like, I should be getting paid too. But but anyway, so with that, we're also going to be back next week to talk about episode 5. What else? The Boys is about to come out soon. Episodes 1 and 2. The Acolyte just dropped, so I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna be watching that and doing reviews for that. Bad Boys comes out this weekend. I got to see that and review that. What else? House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon. Yeah, season 2 comes out. I still gotta watch season 1. I haven't watched season. Well, I finally went and I started episode 1 of season 1 last week, so I got to finish that, but I'm gonna do a little recap and my like brief thoughts of season 1 before season 2, and I'm doing that as well because Sharonda, I don't know if you guys know Sharonda from Pay Away, she wants to have me on her channel for season 2 recap, so join. If you guys are not following Sharonda, she's like one of the biggest Black women YouTubers, so you definitely should be following her. Support Sharonda, but also follow me over there for those recaps and all that other stuff. Follow me on YouTube. If you're not, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. All of that stuff. Watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. And happy Pride. So with that, See you guys next week for Interview with the Vampire. Hit the bell notification button so when I post the alert, you guys know when to show up because we keep changing the days every week. Well, with that, anyway, peace. We out.